Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV. Chelsea win 3-1. We are staying up. I say we are staying up. I say we are staying up. I say we are staying up. That's embarrassing, isn't it? But yeah, we are staying up. We got the magic 40-point number, which we should have got months ago, against the Bournemouth team, who are not in bad form. But we got the job done. We're going to talk about the formation, lineup, players, specific players. Talk a little bit about the manager as well. We're going to be covering the manager today, talking about Pochettino, some of the news that we found around today on the reports of a potential new manager coming to Chelsea in the summer. So we'll be going through that as well. Big up to every single one of you guys that are in here. I hope you're all well. Smash the likes as always. Big up to every single one of you. And let's cue that intro. Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV. Hope you guys are well, wherever it is that you are across the world. Big up to every single one of you that are coming through at the moment, slowly but surely. Do me a favour, as always, please smash the likes hard. It's been a while since I've been on here, to be fair. I say a while, a couple of days. Getting to the end of, obviously, the season, not much to really talk about in regards to Chelsea, but the main aim was to win. The main aim was to get the points required to make sure that Chelsea are able to go into next season in the Premier League, which I suppose was never in doubt, but still needed to get done, right? We needed to get it done. So, yeah, big up to every single one of you guys that are in here. We'll be talking about a bit about that in a second. Just going to go through the chats quickly as well. RD's just being RD, coming out with stupid comments. Sterling, Felix, link up goal. Imagine we had Enrique, everyone. All right, mate. It was a good goal. That was it. It was a good goal. Ollie, big up, man. How are you? Richard, as well. We have a manager in Frank we trust. Richard, taking the piss. We are staying up. We are staying up is what Surf says as well. Vic says, sure, you appreciate Noni doing what Pulisic was bought to do many years ago with time. Well, I don't even know why we're even discussing Madueke not playing well. I've been wanting to see this guy playing for Chelsea 2 games ago, and in the 2 games that he played, all right, we lost to Arsenal. Still thought he was one of our best players on the pitch, but the game yesterday, again, he just gave us something that we don't have, or I've not seen a lot of at Chelsea, and it's someone that's direct, that can dribble, that can bring players towards, that can create space on the pitch. And yes, he's still very young. Yes, he's still not the full article. And I just find it funny because we always seem to think that every player that comes to Chelsea has to be the full article and complete. Yeah, he's not complete. But what he does do is he excites. He plays the game how I want it to be from terms of the attackers, direct attracting players, making space, something that we didn't have last season or the 2 seasons before. And he was effective. He was very effective yesterday. There is little parts to his game that I do think he needs to improve on. We're going to talk a bit about Madueke a bit later on, but let's save that for them. Big up to Mark as well. Yeah, but you... RD, I'm going to absolutely squash this in a minute because I've got a stat here that you're not going to like me. You're not going to like. I've not even talked about Pulisic, who get criticised for dribbling more with no end product like Madueke. What? Felix has been on the end. Felix has played a lot more than Madueke, and Felix has been at the end of all of our chances pretty much. Yeah, he starts it and he finishes it. But how many games have we watched of Felix this season where he gets in front of goal and he absolutely mucks it up? We can't ignore it. Madueke is a little bit different in his way because he comes off the wing. He's more of a creator off the wing. Yeah, he gets in front of goal. But he also did score. In the 2 games that he's played, he scored 1. So he done better than what Felix done in his first couple of games. Come on, man, let's not do this. I'm not even saying Felix is bad, but stop trying to knock things down to bring up another player who's not actually been that good, in my opinion. Yeah, there's good in him, but from what I've seen of him, the problems still stand. And I said it before he was even signed. It's not even an agenda with me because it's funny when I say things, how it seems to just come out later on in itself, especially in certain players and their profiles. And it's not that I don't like him. I think he is a very good player. I just think that there's certain things that he needs to improve on. And when we're talking about progressing as a club and trying to work our way back up to the table, you need to have killers up front. We need killers in the team. And if it means that Nkunku comes in and Felix has got a whole bench and we do sign him, then I'll still do it. That's it. I'm not saying not to keep him. If we get him for 50 million or 40 million, get him. We're going to be getting rid of a lot of forwards anyway. I'm not saying don't buy Felix. I just think there's still parts of his games that are frustrating that he needs to work on as an individual. And that's why he's been holding bench for a while. Big up, Mitchy boy. How you doing, man? Big up, Hooked on Fishing TV. Nice to see you guys. Over 100 of you here. Big up, man. Melon, nice to see you. Felix doesn't score goals, mate. Don't even get me started. Is Poch not coming? Mixed reports. We're going to talk about that, Mitchy boy. That's one of the first things we're going to talk about before we go into the game over the weekend as well. But the most important thing over the weekend, before we even go on to that, is that just winning games, guys. It was just winning. It's not even really about performances for me anymore. We've already seen the amount of crap that we've seen in terms of individual performances from players throughout the months. You know, having one game that we've done okay in, which was still quite open, which we'll talk about a bit later on, and winning, yeah, is the most important thing. When it comes to talking about and mowing about players, like we asked. Everson, big up to you. Couch in the house, big up to Couch as well. Nice to see the boy. Hope you're well, hope you're well. Vic as well. 33k, nice to see you. Big up to Diz as well. Sack him is what we've got here still. We need to sell the Deadwood, being a solid striker to support over 100 plus wingers and inconquerable. We're going to go through all of that now as well, guys. Please make sure you're smashing the likes. We're going to start with the talks in around Pochettino as well. We have got the panels to come in to speak to in a bit as well. Today, David Ornstein came out of this for the Athletic, saying that Chelsea is set to conclude the head coach search this week. Final decision expected in coming days. Announcement to follow in due course. New man will collaborate with Lampard plus SDs before summer starts. Mauricio Pochettino is strong favourite. So I don't really get the collab bit. New man will collab. Is it more of like a feeder in, getting to know the players, understanding the players, and then sort of passing the wings on to him? I don't know. I don't get that part of it. Obviously, we know Pochettino is the only one that seems to be standing out very much at the moment, has been spoken about very highly in regards to coming to Chelsea, and it looks like he's going to be the man. It's going to be an interesting one with Pochettino because there's a lot of mixed heads on it. I will back it and give it the chance, like I do with every manager. I will have my question marks, but the question marks are there for him to prove me wrong. You know, and if he proves me wrong and we do start performing and you know, he has that next level of capability in terms of manager in him, Pochettino, and I'm talking about the next level, then fine. You know, so the pressure's on him. The pressure's on him to come in and get it right. Make sure that we progress better than we have done under Potter, as we haven't done under Lampard as well. Start seeing a style of football and identity. And then obviously backing him in terms of what he wants to get the best out of his systems. He's going to have a big squad to have to break down as well. So there's a lot that he's going to have to do, and he's going to have to step up in doing and get it right, you know, because as we know at Chelsea, from start to the end, he will be criticised quite heavily, you know, and people will be watching. So it's going to be important to see how he gets on if he is announced. Big up Seppers, Daniel in the building as well. Terry, nice to see you. Bobby in the building as well. We're coasting top four. Hamza's very confident that we're going to coast top four. He thinks we'll get it done quite nicely. We know this, I agree. I'm not going to lie. That is very true. But yeah, so let's see what happens in the midst of that. And on the back of that, there was a little bit more on that as well from Chelsea Dodgers, who goes on to say that after comprehensive search led by sporting directors Lawrence Stewart and Paul Winstanley, a final decision is set to be made in the coming days ahead of an announcement will follow in due course. That tells me that this is going to be announced before the beginning of the next season, so probably in this season. Pochettino still strong favourites. We've been told that Jose Mourinho was approached but turned it away himself. I don't see anyone else really involved. We know Nagelsmann's pulled out. We know Enrique's not been picked by Chelsea. So what does it leave us with, really? You know, what does it really leave us with in terms of options? And it's going to be Pochettino. It looks like it's going to be Pochettino. That's all it's going to be, guys. Poch at the wheel at Chelsea is going to be so intriguing, I swear. What are you arguing with? Don't bother arguing with Arsenal fans, man. We already know that they're going to bottle the league. We already know it. Don't waste your energy, guys. Don't waste your energy in Arsenal. It's not worth it. You know, they've been irrelevant for 20 years. I don't even know why we do it. Just let them do what they're doing, man. What's the link to donate to the channel? Big up, bro. Well, you have the options of super chat. So where you're typing in the comments, there's a little icon on the right. If you click that, it gives you an option to super chat to the channel, which donates to Chelsea Fan TV. I will then read out and answer your question, which will be highlighted at the bottom. And that's where you do it, Nines. Big up, man. Big up to you. I like Poch, but I wish we gave the keys to Enrique. And this is it, Seppers, because I don't blame people for feeling he might not be the right man and wanting someone else. Like like a lot of Chelsea fans. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, there's not much wrong with the other side of it. People actually thinking he's the good man to come in and bed the players, maybe get the best out of them. You look at what he did at Southampton and Tottenham. Yeah, there's something there. I can see that. But for me, it's how far can you go with Poch? How far can we go with Poch at Chelsea? And when does it get to the point where it hits another brick wall and we're like sitting here going, we need something else. We need someone that's got a killer instinct. We need a manager that's going to give these players a killer edge. We're not winning games. We're losing finals. I'm not saying it will be the case, but, history shows that he's not. I don't know. We'll just have to wait. I'm just going to be open to it. If Tuchel bottles the Bundesliga, he's an absolute fraud. Such from a Liverpool fan that comes out with these comments when you've still got a naive manager that's only won you one fucking Premier League in 7 years, mate. Is that not an embarrassment in yourself? Is that not an embarrassment in itself? The fact that you've only won one Premier League under Klopp. Is that not embarrassing enough? Big up, Ram. Poch is the wrong manager for us. We know this. However, the board wants a yes man. That's what Matty feels, and he has said that from the beginning. We're going to talk about Rafinha in a second. That's another bit of news that's came up on it as well. I don't expect him to take win to take him. I don't expect him to win us major trophies, Gem. I'll be the guy to take us point B and foundation. All right. So again, this goes back to what most Chelsea fans are saying that want him. He's going to put the foundations in play. He's going to make us competitive, and we might start getting Champions Leagues. But maybe we just don't go that next step, which is where we want to go, which is what Chelsea should be and where Chelsea should be, and that's what we're working to. And maybe that just needs a bit of time. What are you talking about now? 3 leagues against Tuchel, 2 leagues in France, 2 Bundesligas, and 1 PL. But guess what, Ram? Let's just really sum this up for you, mate. You just said it there. 1 PL in 7 years, and you Liverpool fans would go in that the rivals between you, the battle between you and Man City is one of the best, or the best battle in Premier League era. But how is it a battle when one team who's in their prime and another team that's in their prime, the blue side managed to win it 4 or 5 plus times, and you only mean to win it once? And this is supposedly the best era of Liverpool, the best era of football players that you've had, one of the best era of football players that you've ever had in Liverpool history, and you've won it once. Answer that question. Again, and you'll fall in the same bracket as when Arsenal also come around and do not win this league as well. You and Arsenal, and more you though, because you are the guys that have been following Man City all the way through, are bottlers. That's what you are. You ain't got it. And that goes to show. This whole set, no other manager other than Fergie has done. What are you? Look at how desperate he is. He's trying to hold on to the one. We won one. We won one. We done this. We done that. What have you done? What have you done recently, bro? What have you done recently? Where's your last major trophy? Like these Arsenal fans, these Liverpool fans, sorry, not Arsenal, these Liverpool fans, bro, I swear. They're in cuckoo land. 1 fucking Premier League in 7 years under the same manager. Can you imagine if that was at Chelsea? He wouldn't have lasted. That's how good of a manager Klopp is. I wasn't on the Poch train, but he fits the squad for the group of youngsters that need to be coached. Can he win us trophies? Time will tell. Well, that's it. That's it. Time will tell whether or not he's the right man to take us to the next step, and that's what I would say. Do you know what I mean? But that ain't an achievement, is it? That ain't really an achievement, Ram. That ain't really an achievement. You're like Arsenal. You're gloating against the Chelsea team that's absolutely been in transition in the mud. That's gone through sanctions. That's gone through the dirt. And that's yet you guys are meant to be sitting at the top of your reigns with Van Dijk and fucking Van Dijk, and fucking Mo Salah and all these guys lot. And you've won one Premier League. Does that not sink in your head in 7 years? One. And you know what's even more funny about it? You won it in a COVID period when you couldn't even celebrate it properly. You won it in a COVID period where you couldn't even celebrate it properly. that goes to show. You didn't even get to fucking celebrate it. Oh my God, these Liverpool fans, they are always in the land of dreams, the land of noddies, these lot. That's what I call them. Big up to Nines with the donation. He says, up the Chelsea, would you start Noni next season? I'd make sure that I would want to see more of Noni next season. I want to see Noni playing. I'm not saying starting every game, but, competing, getting his fair share, showing what he's available to do. I think someone like Pochettino could potentially work for Noni, even Madueke. Them sort of direct players. We've got quality. We have quality here, guys. I keep telling you, there's quality in this fucking team. We just need a manager that can implement a system, get them playing more consistently, and start seeing a trend in consistent wins. That's what we need. We just need someone that can actually start balancing this squad a bit better. We've got Malo Gusto coming on the right, so we're not going to have the issues of worrying about Reece James being injured. Malo Gusto's a good player, and he'll give us strength there, And on top of that, you've got Enzo, who needs to be pushed further forward. I want to see a sitter. When that sitter comes in, I want to see him further forward, which means we'll be more effective in creating. We've got Nkunku coming in that's going to have the abilities to be able to score when chances are created for him, rather than us keep missing and our output being shit, because he will score goals once you put it in front of him. Well, I hope he does. If he don't, then I believe him give up, to be honest. But I think Nkunku will do that. There's also the talks about Chelsea bringing in another striker. I'd like to actually see an Ivan Toney. I think the guy's quality. I think he has the abilities that we need of a leader up front to be able to hold the ball, link the play. He doesn't score tons of goals. He can score goals and he'll get double digits, but he's not like a Harry Kane goals. But for me, when you look at Ivan Toney, it's more about his overall game, which I think would then help the system. When you look at how Harry Kane was under Pochettino and the way that he was played, coming in deep, moving forward. I think, again, that's something that we should be looking at as well. Thank you, mate. Thank you. We are staying up. I say we are staying up. We are staying up. I say we are staying up. I'm not really a big fan of Osimhen. I mean, Osimhen's a good player, but it's just a big risk for the money that they want him for, We are all Chelsea against Man United and Man City, right? Big up Devin as well. Nice to see you. So we move on from that, guys, on to what Pochettino's wife said. Now, Pochettino's wife has come out of recent and said, Mauricio Pochettino's wife reveals she is in London with Pochettino preparing to take charge of Chelsea. It comes from the Mail Sport as well. So it seems like it's going to happen. Poch is going to return to the league, be in command of this Chelsea team. He's going to be in command of the progression. He's going to be in command of bringing the best out of the quality that we have, and also guiding the vision of what these coaches want from these players, from this squad, from this club, where we're going. He's got a lot to do. This is a big job for any manager coming through the door, because a lot's gone wrong at this club at the moment. A lot needs to be sorted, and starting with that needs to be outgoings. We need to start seeing players getting chucked out the doors as well. That's going to be a big key into Chelsea moving forward, Let's hope Curtis Jones is better than your whole midfield. That is the most dumbest thing I think I've ever heard in my life, because Curtis Jones is one of the worst midfielders I've ever seen in my life. Hands down. Even Conor Gallagher is better than Curtis Jones. And I don't even rate Conor Gallagher that high. That is even more of a dumb comment because he's not that good. I remember Liverpool fans gunning him this season about how bad he is. What are you even on used to? What do you watch? He's not good. Anyway, going back to Chelsea. Chelsea put London on the map in Europe. Arsenal struggle to win Community Shields. Arsenal are irrelevant to me. Till they can win a major trophy, come back to me. Come back to me. He's not decent. He ain't not decent. Mount, in his first 2 seasons at Chelsea, has by far performed better than Curtis Jones has at Liverpool. Don't even compare Mount and Curtis Jones. That's just offensive. That's just stupid. Ampadu's even better. Ampadu's even better. Look, if Mason Mount actually went to Liverpool, I'm going to say it straight up. He would walk into your midfield and he'd be your best midfielder. If Mason Mount gets sold to Liverpool, he starts and he's your best midfielder. That's how bad your midfield is. That's how bad your midfield is. Your midfield is shocking. Anyway, going back to Chelsea. Got a lot of rivals in here today trying to give it. We move on to a little bit of transfer talk. And one being Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who says, I'd like to return to Barcelona, but we'll see, he said. Auba will leave 100% leave Chelsea. Barca open to sign Auba, but it depends on financial fair play. The only way for Barca is no transfer fee and salary reduced. I don't care what it is that we have to do. Just let him go. I don't get this love or semi-love for him. I don't get it. I don't know why people defend it. Really and truly. I don't think he's good enough one bit in what we try and do moving forward in our systems. Just that doesn't work. And people say, yeah, he's a finisher. Yeah, he is. He is. You can put him in the box and he'll probably take his chances. But it's everything else about his game. He sulks. He's just got an attitude problem. And he doesn't do enough off the ball. He doesn't really help his team. He's meant to be older and wiser and whatever. He's just not that for me. If we would have bought him before he went to Arsenal a couple of years ago, I would have bit your hand off because he was unreal. That's the Aubameyang that I know. This Aubameyang is just a waste of time. This Aubameyang is the kind of player that you don't want at your football club. And people will say, but he's not been given enough chances. Why we even played him against Arsenal was the most dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. People were wanting to see it happen. It was dumb. Tactically, it was dumb. Just let him go. Like, let's move on. We're Chelsea Football Club. I can't be bothered with the Lukakus and the Aubameyangs anymore. I want us to move forward. I want us to move forward. He's just not good enough. I think he's good, but never get. Yeah, it's not even that. He's not. I'm telling you now, he's not. From what we're trying to do, he's not. He's just not. He might go back to Barcelona and start banging and whatever. That's fine. But for what we're doing and where we're at the moment, he doesn't suit what we do. And we're not even great. And I've been telling people this as well. I was sitting on the fence when we signed him. You're right about Auba, but what have we done for him? We've not done much because he's not really been given loads of opportunities. But even when he is given opportunities, what's the point? Doesn't really offer anything. Can't hold the ball up. He can't run behind because he's not as quick anymore, and that was his biggest strength, running behind with his speed and being effective in front of goal. Now, what's the point? Let's be serious, guys. I don't get why we defend these. Not talking about you, but some people that defend this. I don't get it. I don't get it. Welcome you. Would you welcome? No, I would not. Ella, how are you anyway, Ella? I would not welcome him back to Chelsea. No. Let him go. I don't want Lukaku. I don't want Aubameyang. I don't want any of these mentality issue players that come into your club and just no, please. I'd rip his contract up and send him back. Like, there is no way in hell I would want him. Send him to Liverpool. You go and play with Darwin Núñez or something. Might actually work. Guys, over 200 people in the chat. Big up to yous. We are moving from Aubameyang to the game over the weekend, which we was meant to do yesterday, but I didn't get a chance because I was out for a barbecue and whatever else. So I didn't get the chance to get in. I agree, Cuzzy. It's disgusting. Anyone that defends it, I don't get it. Oh no, because Havertz had such a bad game and Felix scored. That's the difference. We do this all the time. It's boring. We do this all the time. We watch one game and we get excited. We're shit, mate. We've been awful. All of them. Not even defending Havertz. He's been shit as well. I just hate it when we defend players over watching one game. We watch one game and go, yeah, he's back. We need him. Yeah. Played fucking 10 minutes. Anyway. Fucking hell. Regen, why would we want people in our club who don't want to be here? We are Chelsea. We are Chelsea, darling. We are. We just got to move forward. We've got to move forward from just these... I don't explain this. We've got to move forward for players that don't want to play for Chelsea. And I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of players this season that don't want to play for Chelsea. And that's why I'm a little bit... I'm usually quite relaxed, but that's why I'm a little bit annoyed, because we're getting at the end of the season now and we're still talking about bigging up certain players and keeping them. And I'm just like, what are we doing, man? Like, come on. Let's move forward with Chelsea Football Club. Like, let's just look ahead, give Poch what he wants, get rid of all this crap that don't want to be and are not good enough. Move forward, keep the ones that are good in here, like this guy that we're going to talk about now, and then work around it. Like, get Ziyech out. Like, come on, man. Like, get rid of the players that are not good working with us, or moaning about their contracts, or moaning about not having enough game time, or moaning, like, just get rid of the dirt. We've over 3 years of shit in this club. Done with it. Fed up of going to games and watching the same crap for 3 years. Enzo Fernandez, since joining Chelsea, most tackles, most possessions regained, most goals created in actions, most progressive passes, most long passes, most through balls, most passes into the opponent's half. Shock. Yet people, rival fans, and some Chelsea fans still want to call out such a baller. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I want to bang my head against the wall. When it comes to Enzo Fernandez, we're already playing him out of row anyway. We ask him to play the most deepest role of any midfielder in our team, which is the absolutely most dumbest thing. And yes, I kind of bit my lip, or bit my tongue, knowing that when he came to Chelsea, we're probably going to do that to him because we didn't have anyone else. But if we do not, I'm going to say this now, very clear. If we do not buy a sitter in the summer, and we go into next season with him playing as our deepest player, we have wasted this money. And then, do you know what? He's still quality because he still possesses the abilities to do it from deep. But we need to allow this guy to blossom further forward. We need this guy to be able to pick use his vision to make the passes when forwards make runs in behind quickly and effectively. Not Kovacic, not Kante. I don't want to see Kante running through 20 touches, looking down, not even looking up, and we lose the ball like we do most seasons. Kovacic, the same. Just doesn't do enough further forward. You've got a fucking gem of a player that's only been a professional footballer for 4 seasons of his life and still has a lot to improve on himself. But you can see the quality that he possesses, something that we've not had at Chelsea for a long time. And he needs to be further forward in this team for us to be effective. And I will keep taking that into my arguments next season. If I find him playing deeper, we are letting him down. Because he don't want to be that deep. I am telling you now. I don't think he's that happy playing there. But I think he does it for the team. Because, do you know what? I actually think he cares. Plays with a bit of passion. That's Enzo Fernandez for you. We need to allow him to be next to someone that can do more of the defensive-minded work. So that, yes, he will get back and still tackle and do his bit. Because he's that. He will get about. But he can think more, right, now I can go forward a bit more and not worry about having to be defensively minded because I've left the defence on their own. Because the guy behind me is that. And he will be aware. He's defensively aware enough to do that work and cover that area and break the player quicker and win the ball physically more. Get across the pitch a bit easier because he can't get across the pitch maybe like a Latvia or us. This is what we need. I don't even think Kante's a great sitter. I'll be honest with you. At the moment, I'm actually, and we saw it against Bournemouth, I want to see more of Enzo and Kane as a two. But still, I'm still not 100% sure with it. Still think we need someone that can actually sit next to him. The only thing I would say is that Enzo was deeper at Bournemouth, but then in parts of the games he was further forward than he usually is. And then Kane dropped back and covered the pockets. So he can do it, Kane. But he's just not Kane. That's not, again, he's not, what's the word? He's not he's not another sitter. Kante's good at doing that, but with a sitter next to him. And when you remember Kante being successful at Chelsea is when he was next to a defensive-minded midfielder like Matic. He still worked with Matic and they done well as a pivot, but Matic was more of the sitter that covered the area, a big figure and whatever. So again, it's another thing that I think we need in Team Gem. I think we signed both Latvia and Rice. Latvia is still very young. I like Latvia. I haven't got a problem with Rice. I think Rice is just the money. QNTV, nice to see you, bro. How are you? How are you, my brother? Good to see you in the house. Apparently, Poch has been talking to Lampard about the squad. Interesting. We'll see what happens. But there's no doubt that moving into next season, we need to build around, not build, but we need to get the best out of him. And getting the best out of him is allow him to use, push forward. You're going to have Nkunku up there. Mudryk's going to be into his second season. Madueke off the right. Maybe a Felix behind. I don't know, whatever. But, Enzo joining that when they're all making runs and playing the right balls is what we need. We need to get the best out of him. I agree, Ram. I agree. I just find it stupid when people say he's not good. It's been complete. This is the biggest example, Ram. Imagine playing Bruno Fernandes in Casemiro's role. That is what we're doing to Enzo Fernandes right now. And I'm not saying they're identically the same because they're not identically the same. But they still have the same way of creating. They have that idea, they have that eye, they have that vision. I just think Enzo's a bit more tired than Bruno. I think with Bruno, he just hits. He's always just looking for it, even if he doesn't find it. He just do it. But I agree. I think he's a top player, and I think he will grow in this Chelsea team. We just need someone next to him a bit more. Probably a better example. What I would say, Modric's a baller, isn't he? He is. Probably, yeah, I agree. That's probably a good example as well. Yeah, exactly. We know that. Mudryk needs more time, more game time. He's a literature, but doesn't get enough minutes. I agree. I just think Mudryk needs to be managed as well. He needs a manager to manage him, to get the best out of him. Another thing, Let's talk about someone that did play has impressed me the last two games. And some people, I think still are not too thingy of him, but I thought for what he showed and how he has been played, I think he's been very effective.
Congratulations, big win, big performance. How was it for you today?
Yeah, no, on an individual note, it's just good to get my second consecutive start. The last bit at times weren't there, but the win is most important. So next week, just build on it, get some shooting practice in, and we'll be fine.
You're obviously a perfectionist, but talk to us about the energy of the performance, because it was a sharp start today, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, for sure. And we started the game well, got the first goal, and then obviously they came back and scored. Credit to them, but we didn't let that get us down. We had to weather some storms in the game as well, but obviously the boys came on. Hack, great cross for the second goal, and Zhao and Raheem for the third. So that's what it's about. Boys coming on and doing their job. See, we know it's competition for places in the squad with this talent. So yeah, that's what you want.
What I like about Noni Madueke is that he does everything that I think we need in terms of being successful going the other way. Yes, there's areas of his game that he still needs to improve on, but he's so young. The other part of it is his injury list, his injury record. Can he keep fit? Can we nurture that? I think going into next season, we will need someone else with him to maybe aid in the minutes, because I don't want to see him playing every game. I kind of worry a little bit with him in terms of him playing back to back games. I think he kind of needs to play, but just not all the time, if that makes sense. Direct dribbler, comfortable at taking players on, good with his left foot, more effective to me than what Hakim Ziyech ever is. because I think in what he does, he offers more with the ability of dribbling. I sometimes think he overruns it. Sometimes overruns it a little bit too much, and he should play the ball a bit quicker. And I think that may hopefully come with time. But when you look at the raw talent of him, he is a great player for us to have at Chelsea. And this is why, before the Arsenal game, if you remember, when we done the team lineups, we didn't see Noni Madueke for a very long time. I said, straight up, I want to see Noni. I think we need to see Noni. I think we need to give him a chance. And we've all thought, well, he ain't going to be played. He hasn't played loads of games. He got given a chance against Arsenal. Yeah, we got slapped, but I think he was one of the bright spots and he scored. And against Bournemouth, again, I thought he was very effective. He had the one up against the Bournemouth left back who was struggling to mark him. He's scary because he runs at you every time he gets the ball. And I like that type of player. I like that type of player because what that player does is he creates space for others to run into and be effective. Yeah, he needs to practice on his shooting. We heard it in his interview. He even said himself, I need to, practice in front of goal a bit more. No problem. Do that. But at least you're showing something, Noni. At least you're giving us something, at least you're giving me something. Man has a great mentality compared to the others who are shy. And I agree. He's strong on the ball. He's not weak. He can shift you. He has the ability to slow down and go again very quickly. And I like them type of players because they're very hard to deal with. I like Madueke. I do. I actually think Madueke, Tim, bro, you're getting blocks, mate. Give it a break, bro. Give it a break. Give it a break. We're trying to sit here talk about Chelsea and you're coming here talking about banter. Your club's been banter for blimmin' 20 years, bro. Get out there. Get out. Get out. 1-1 versus Noni, good and still, but I think his end product will come. He just needs a bit of time. And I like having that option. And he can start games. He can come off the bench, be effective. I think from what I've seen so far, I think he has a bright future for us. We just need to make sure we find the right manager to nurture the best out of him more consistently, make him more effective in front of goal. And I think he could be a problem in the future. I don't understand how Potter Lampard didn't select Noni for weeks, even after his 1 goal and 2 assist efforts against you. I know. I agree. To add to Noni Madueke, we're also going to talk about what's he done up to these first 2 games. Well, there we go. A little stat for you. Noni Madueke has also become the first Chelsea player this season to complete 4+ successful take-ons in back-to-back games. 5 out of 9 against Bournemouth, 4 out of 5 against Arsenal. That goes to show you about what I said about his ability of dribbling, which I think Mudryk, in time, could be doing the same as well. I think he's more direct with the ball, his feet, than Mudryk. I think Mudryk can do the same on the left. I just think Mudryk's going to need a little bit more time, I think, with the right manager. Mudryk offers something different to what Madueke does, but they're both direct in terms of the ability of being able to run in behind. And they have speed and they're strong. And I like that. Good wingers. Good wingers for us. Now, there was talks about the potentials of Chelsea interested in another winger coming over. And that winger being one of Rafinha. Now, apparently, according to... What we got here? Someone's put Rafinha and Poch's scary hours, as if to say they'd get the best out of him. Who said it? Someone was talking about Rafinha to Chelsea. Latest. So there's talks about Rafinha potentially being an option to Chelsea. There's one of Simon Phillips came out earlier on talking about it. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, the actual individual that spoke about it is not the biggest individual in terms of source. So it might just be literally ketchup sauce more than anything. But we'll see. We'll see if anything comes from the fact that Rafinha is going to be sold by Barcelona for financial reasons as well in the summer. Mudryk is more into link-up, which is great balance. I agree. That Noni reminds me of a player like Balissier/Zaha, unpredictable. And that's what I like, El Padrino. Big up to you. Nice to see you in it. I like the unpredictability that he brings. It's very good to watch. Yeah, hit the likes, guys. Why are we not? I mean, I don't want to have to look at the likes, but I know we haven't got enough likes, guys. Can everyone get these likes up, please? Come on, guys. Why not enough likes? Chelsea Fan TV, 200 people nearly there. Only 46 likes. Come on, guys. Really helps the channel. It really helps the channel. I can't stress how important hitting the thumbs are while you're sitting there watching it. Please, guys. Really, really helps me because it helps us what we're doing. And in GNA TV as well, guys. There's nearly 100 of you guys there. We should have at least 75 likes, guys. Please, if you haven't hit the thumb, please hit the thumb as well because it massively helps the channel. Just get this over 50 though, at least quickly. Quick time, guys. Everyone's not hit the thumb. Please hit the thumb now. How quick can we get these thumbs up? How quick can we get these thumbs up? Come on both sides, GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV. How quick can we get these thumbs up? I'm watching. GNA TV, what are we saying? We've stopped at 38. Come on. Can we get this over 50, guys? Can we get this over 50, please? Yeah, hell, it does. What AJ's saying is right. It helps grow the channel. It really does. 73 likes on Chelsea Fan TV. Keep going, guys. Keep going. Like I said, the more the likes we get, the more people come through as well. New people subscribe as well. Keep smashing it, guys. Keep smashing it. Keep smashing it. We're going to go on to quickly about the lineups. I'm also going to drop the link into the panel because the panel was coming in today. We're going to have a little chat with them about the game, their thoughts and opinions on it as well. Links in the chat for the panel. But we're going to quickly just talk about the lineup yesterday because obviously it was we questioned Lampard for his tactics. He's gone stuck with the back four again. The introduction of Badiashile and Thiago Silva was pleasing to the eyes for me, which we're going to talk a bit more. Chilwell and Chalobah. We know Chalobah's not a right back, but the positions that we find ourselves in with Reece James out, we're going to have to do it sometimes. We got to see Kante, Enzo, and Gallagher in the middle. We'll talk a bit more about that with a 4-3-3. And then Madueke, Havertz, and Mudryk was a very direct front three. Again, I'll keep stressing it, and I will keep saying this. I'd rather see a 4-2-3-1 than a 4-3-3, in my opinion, with Kante and Enzo in the pivots. The three I would like to see is Mudryk, Madueke, Havertz, and Felix. That's the four I'd like to see. That's what I would do. I think that gives us more creativity as well. And I think Felix in that pocket is great. I don't think Havertz, we already know with Havertz, he's not a 9. He kind of just plays there and he has some really bad games. And sometimes you might see an odd good game from him. But where we have seen good of Havertz is Havertz being played a lot more deeper. But yeah, I would definitely do 4-2-3-1s rather than 4-3-3s. AJ and Couch have come through the door, boys. How are we doing, guys? How are you doing?
Yes, sir. Big up, John. Big up, man.
Big up, fellas. What are you guys saying?
Big up. Got Callie as well. Big up to Callie. Callie, how you doing?
Pleasure, everybody. Bless up.
Pleasure. All right, guys. Let's start with AJ. AJ, obviously, we've won. We're staying up. We've got over the 40 points. That's the most important thing, I think, for us all to say first is about getting the 3 points, which we've struggled to do for a while. Let's talk about the lineup. Obviously, you went with a 4-3-3 again. What was your thoughts tactically on what you saw against Bournemouth?
Hold back in.
Oh, he's coming back. Couch, I'll let you answer that for me, mate, as he's gone.
Yeah, no. Honestly, Jem, when I look at the lineup now, I don't see a lot of variation. Like you can start anybody, and I expect the same results. It doesn't move me one way or the other when I see one player or the other. It's the exact same thing.
I hear that.
So I think the thing that was impressive about this particular match is I think that we found players that were hungry to play against, a pretty poor Bournemouth side. And when you look at the level of competition, I think that we actually matched the level of competition quite well. We gave people opportunities that they most likely wouldn't have had if we were playing against a tougher competition, and they rose to the occasion. In particular, Madueke, I thought he was fantastic.
He was.
Like his take-ons, his directness, everything you said was like bang on. Like he was really, really interesting. He knew he had the beating of his man, and he took advantage of it time and time again. Everyone else, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like Havertz muted again. Mudryk showed us a few things here and there. He still has to grow. I thought Gallagher was really good. running about and making himself a nuisance and whatnot. You know, played with a lot of energy, which is why he plays a lot of the time. Enzo and Conte, I mean, yeah, okay, not great, but okay. Nothing
Wasn't bad, was it?
spectacular.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Mm.
The defenders, I thought that, you know, even still, like we didn't really give them a lot of opportunities, but for the ones that they did get, they took it quite well. Their goal was incredible. And
I wanted to ask you about Badiashile because you're not his most biggest fan.
yeah, I'm not like, to be honest, the jury's still out for me. It was a great goal. I thought he scored a great goal, but like even on the goal itself that we conceded to Bournemouth, I just think that his footwork and his movements is not good enough. Like he was about 6 feet away from the attacker who scored the goal. And you know, it's gonna come in time. I'm not worried about him per se, but I'm not necessarily of the same opinion of everyone else. Like, oh my God, Badiashile, like look at this guy, he's incredible. No, he's good on the ball. He shows that he has good composure and whatnot. But in terms of reading the game, in terms of positioning, in terms of footwork, I think he needs a lot of work. And
that's
you know,
fine.
this was a good game for him. This was a good game for him.
I think I agree with you. I think that's fine for a young player to come into Chelsea not complete because none of them are. We already know that. So if there's parts of the games that need to be improved, and I agree, I've seen him live, and I always go back to the Villa game, which we lost at home, where he was playing he was playing on the left side. I think we played a three at the back at the time, and he was on the left, and Koulibaly was in the middle. There were so many points of the game where he's tactically, like he's understanding of his position, of where to be. You know, it wasn't there. You know, and even I could see that sometimes he was a bit heavy on the ball and whatever else. That's fine. What I do see in Badiashile, though, is a player that can improve, a player that I think can actually be quite important moving forward to Chelsea. I like his physique. He's a tall, strong player. He doesn't get bullied. He doesn't get bullied off the ball, quite, you know, and I like that in defence. He's not. I wouldn't say he's quick. I wouldn't say he's slow.
No, I wouldn't say quick either, but I wouldn't say slow. I'd say that he's. Yeah. You know, but like when you're playing with a high line and stuff like that, like if you're not quick, then your footwork has to be incredible. And I just don't see that yet. You know, like these are all things that are coachable and trainable. Yeah. Like I'm not by no means am I saying that he was a bad buy. Like I think that for the investment and the age and the profile, he's a good enough player, but it's not all there yet. And like I don't know why we're getting this opinion that like, oh my God, he's the next Maldini or whatever. I don't know. Like whatever it may be. He's not there yet. He's not there.
I don't think people think. I think people just maybe a little bit more ahead in terms of what they've seen and think he's a lot better than maybe you think in what they've seen, and that's fine. Because
no doubt.
Again, this falls down to the visual, doesn't it? And what people see, and everyone sees things slightly different when it comes to football.
No doubt about it.
What I would say about Badiashile, I agree with what Couch is saying because there are a few. Yeah. Times where I've seen him not completely get spun to a point where he's on the floor and we've conceded from it. But there are times where his pace and his long strides do tend to get him out of trouble because he seems to be quite flat-footed at times. But one thing I'd say about Badiashile for now is that I would say his positives outweigh a lot of the negatives because, like I said, you know, like you said there, Jem, a lot of the concerns that Couch has about him and why he's a little bit skeptical about it, these things can be ironed out, I would say. With a proper coach, because if you think about it, he's had Graham Potter and he's had Frank Lampard in his first season, who he's been learning from. So, yeah, I would say for now, in terms of how we want to play going forward with the build-up, passing out from the back, you know, having players in defence who are comfortable on the ball, he gives you all of that. But yeah, I do get the flip side of it in terms of being a little bit flat-footed and just his positioning at times can be questioned, you know. And even when we played Brighton, I think he started that game with Chalobah in the back four. Obviously, we're terrible in the back four, but you could see in that game that a lot of the deficiencies that he has came out. So I agree with what Couch is saying to an extent. I disagree with people overrating him because, yeah, we still need to see more. But he's still an exciting player either way. And I think a lot of the deficiencies that we're seeing now, they can definitely be ironed out with a coach like Poch. So I'm not worried about it.
What was your thoughts on the overall game and the setup? Was it a better performance for you from what you saw, or do you think it was just quiet? Because for me, I thought it was just very open. I'll be honest with you, I just thought it was very open. It was just one end.
Yeah.
And that
no, definitely. I don't think
there was much tactics to it, is what I was going to say to you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the thing. I think there isn't tactics in these games. Like Frank Lampard's come out and said it himself. He's not really working on anything tactically. I don't know if anything's changed since he last said that in the interview, but at least what he's done as a bare minimum is put players in their actual position. Because
Yeah.
if you're playing players in their position, at least they're professional footballers. You know, they've been playing football for however many years now, going through the ranks in their natural position, right? So you'd expect them to have some sort of basic understanding of what you need to do if you're playing on the left, what you need to do if you're playing down the middle, what you need to do if you're playing as a striker, if you're a striker. So for me, it was good to see players like Mudryk, Madueke. I think he was probably our man of the match. I love how he plays, man. I love a classic winger who just first thought wanting to beat your man all the time, and that's what he does. He's always thinking, how can I beat this man? Same thing as Enzo. He's always thinking, how can I play it forward? But for me, like you, Jem, I would have gone for double pivot because we just have nothing in the midfield, man. It's so easy to play through us. Even after we scored that third goal, me and you were saying in the group chat, like, if this was a better team, we would have lost that game because it's just so easy to play through us. Like, if you look at the space between our back four and the, where the CDM is supposed to be, there's no one there. It's like an open space where you can just run into.
I'd rather see a 4-2-3-1. That's what I want to see. 4-2-3-1. That's what I. If we're going to play back 4-4-2-3-1 with these players.
4-2-3-1. So at least you've got someone playing next to Enzo because Enzo is probably the most competent player to play that role because we got rid of Gilmore in the summer who can play that role. We got rid of Jorginho in January, so we literally only have Enzo now who can play that role. So we're not seeing the best of him because he's just not defensively minded as what you would expect from like a Lavia or like a Rice, for example. So there's still holes in this team. I'm hoping that Frank Lampard, if he is going to go to a back four, hopefully he'll start a double pivot because Enzo needs that extra protection, man. He's not a defensive midfielder. Like I think we can all see that. So,
I think Pochettino's favorite obviously formation if he comes in summer is a 4-2-3-1, right? That's what. That's the formation. That's the formation that he likes. So I was happy with the fact that you're playing players in their natural position. But I did say that Bournemouth on the attack, they're a problem. They know how to. You could just see that they're well drilled when it comes to. They scored a great goal. That goal they scored was a very good goal. Though let's not take it away from them.
That's not improvising. That's well drilled. That's what you do on the pitch. That's what you do on the training pitch. Because look at us against Arsenal when we were countering. Kante had no idea what to do and was in that 4-4-V2 position, right? When we were countering. Yesterday on Saturday, we had another counter again, and he had no idea what to do then. So these things look simple on the eye when you're looking at counter attacking, but this goes back to the coaching. So Bournemouth, they were good, man. And if they were more clinical, they could have definitely beaten us. But the good thing is we took our chances, which we haven't been doing all season. So I'm happy with that result and happy now that we're officially not getting relegated. So good day, man. Good day.
We actually killed the game off for once as well. We went 2-1 up and I was like, oh, right. Because in our heads we were like, is it going to be 2-2 now? I can see us like conceding.
Just one last point as well. Like if you look at that third goal, this is what Felix can bring to the team, Jem. I know the end product.
Don't do this. Don't do that.
I know the end product hasn't been there this season, right?
I'm not hearing
just look at it. Yesterday,
you can't sit there and tell me that was all Felix. Sterling was unbelievable.
No. I didn't say it was all Felix, but Felix had a big part to play in it because if you look at that first pass,
even in the build-up.
In the build-up, if you look at the first pass that he received from Ruben played it to him, and he done this like fake touch where he dropped his shoulder, picked up the ball, released it back to Ruben, to Sterling, to João, to Sterling again. He's on the move, and the first ball was a good goal. Do you know what I mean? So that goal there, you can see that that's just the quality. Now imagine that with an actual coach that's teaching you how to do that constantly, game after game, game after game. So with Felix, I'm happy for him to stay on a loan to prove himself again because I'm not trying to get finesse, man. I ain't paying no 80 million for João Felix after the end product that we've seen, right? But I'm still happy keeping him in the team, seeing what he can do for us.
Felix's best position for me is the 10 role. That's it.
Yeah, no, 100%. But I'll be real with you though, Jem. He done more than Havertz did the whole game when he came on. Havertz absolutely bombed out the place, bro, on Saturday. He stunk.
Saying about this. We already know he's not a number 9. I'm not even getting into this. We know this, right? We played him up front. He had a bad game. I agree. But let's be serious. João Felix hasn't played for a while. He's come off the bench and made an impact. Same thing with... They do this all the time. Havertz doesn't play for a while. Comes off the bench, makes an impact. Like, the issue here is that when they start, they need to be consistent, both of them. And they're not. And that's my issue with it. So it's not about coming off the bench and performing. Because they can do that, then show that they've got the quality. It's about
I'm not. I'm not
Yeah.
picking him out. I'm just judging this game in isolation. And let's be real, Felix done more than what Havertz did the whole game when he came on. Yeah, the 10 minutes.
The difference is that is a typical Havertz performance over the last 3 years, and that's the problem.
That's the problem. Yeah.
I mean, we move anyway. We move. I think Havertz is going to go, in my opinion. I mean, let's go on to Callie hasn't spoke yet. I mean, we'll go to obviously AJ and Dan as well. I mean, Callie, what are you saying?
We are staying up. Said we are staying up. Yes, sir. We are staying up. Said we are staying up. As you can see, I'm very ecstatic. It's not every day we win a game in the Chelsea beautiful, massive club that we are. I think the last game we won was Leicester, if I remember correctly. Dear God, have mercy. Look, there's not much to say, man. We are in the trenches, in the mud, whatever word, adjective you want to use. Chelsea Football Club are fucked this season. So, shout out to all the real fans who are there, win, lose, or draw. That's what I want to say. The fans have been magnificent this season, especially the ones still going to the ground. Lord knows that must be tough. What can we say, guys? There's no tactics here, as Couch already said. There's really no tactics. That's why the game looks so open. That's why it looks end-to-end. It's just vibes. And finally, the vibes hit right for once. For once. We got one game. And that's all I asked. Just don't get relegated. Don't end up in 15th. So we're meant two bare minimums. I think Noni is an interesting prospect in the way that Badashia is, in the way that they're both young. And I think with young players, I haven't seen this club really give the fans, managers, the board, I haven't seen the club give young players time. And I would really like to see time developing these young players.
I wonder if Noni could be as effective as Saka in the next couple of years.
Jam, it is way too early. Let's just.
I'm not saying he is Saka. I'm just saying, remember when Saka came through with Arsenal? Very young. People could see the abilities, the young talent in him. There was a quality in his game, but you knew that, there was improvements there to be. And now you look at Saka and where he is now and what he's doing. He's very effective.
I'll give you an interesting one, Jem. Remember when we said Adoy versus Saka back when Adoy was actually Starboy? That's why I don't want to speak too soon. I want to wait.
Yeah, but one thing I'll say about Madueke is that he definitely beats his man a lot more than Saka does. Like, he runs at players a lot more than Saka does. Like, with Saka, he's a very good player, but if you actually look at the stats, I was so shocked when I saw this stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say this, Don, and I don't want to be like, I don't want to make a hyperbole, but he is the most direct player we've had since Eden Hazard, and I'm not joking. Like the way he takes players.
He is, yeah.
Jen put the stats up just before we came on, and it speaks for itself. Like, he's beaten his man the most times the whole year in the whole team. So for me, I think offensively, as much as Saka is a different level to him right now, because he's a lot more quality.
Shut up, please. I'm sorry. Stop pushing into stuff. Shut up. I tried. It's what are we doing? He's not even close to Saka. Like, and
wait, hold on. Hold on.
He's not a dribbler.
That's the point that I was making. I said he runs at his man more than Saka. That's what I prefer about Madueke. In terms
he is more direct than Saka. There's nothing wrong with that comment. There's nothing wrong with that comment.
I'm not saying that he's better than Saka, because Saka's better.
Yeah, but why do you prefer his dribbling more than Saka's interplay?
Okay, if we're talking, don't put words in his mouth.
That's not what I said. I literally said he runs.
So why compare him to Saka? Like, what's the point?
He's not being compared. That wasn't
compared to Saka.
Guys, Jem's exact. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Jem's exact words were: "Could you imagine in a couple years' time if Noni is like to the level of Saka? Not that if he's better." But if he was our version of Saka, as in instead of interplaying through the wings, he goes direct at the players and creates more space and openings for attacks. That's what we were talking about.
That's literally it. So if you look at Noni, he definitely runs at his man a lot more than Saka does. He's aiming to beat his man every single time a lot more than Saka does. Yeah, Saka is cute with the interplay. No one's saying that Saka's not better than him, because he is. But we're just stating the facts of the matter. And Noni is better at attacking his man than Saka, in my opinion. I'll be real.
It's not about comparing for me.
Now, Saka is clear. Like, I don't think that needs to be said, but like, Saka is clear.
What I was trying to say is the progression of where Saka was when he first came into
Exactly.
Arsenal.
Thank you, Jem,
raw
for bringing it
talent.
back to reality. Thank you.
Yeah, the raw talent, the raw talent of what Saka was to where he is now. Can you imagine if we have the same thing with Madueke under a competent manager? I'm saying,
Yeah,
and
that's
and
all. The comparisons
That's-
end there. Like you can't compare
That's
the
it.
two players. Like
Yeah.
you
That's
look at Saka when Saka gets into the box, he knows exactly what he's going to do. And
Exactly.
it's not just about his interplay. It's about like his decision making. Like the guy makes great decisions on the ball. Right now, even with the last game with Madueke, like I thought he was great individually, 1v1, getting into the great areas, but the final ball was poor. You know, like he never looked for the cutback all game. There were so many opportunities where we had men in the box, and all he had to do is square it, and he's shooting from a terrible angle. So there's a lot to learn there too. But I thought that this was a good performance for him to build on.
Listen,
And Dan, I
like Noni, right? But if we're saying, this is why, like, I was just wondering why even Saka was even brought up in the dribbling portion, because we can say the same thing about Odegaard, right? If he makes the same progression as Odegaard, if he makes the same progression as Martinelli, if he makes the same progression as plenty of players, and they're not all comparable whatsoever. That's why I was confused. Like, why even? Because Saka is the best in the league currently in terms of wingers, him and Salah. So it's like a massive jump for a kid who he has dribbling, right? But he has a lot to build into his game. Just like someone like an Olise. Olise is probably a better dribbler than him. But it's still
the point you're making right now, though, Saka showed progression based on Arteta's coaching of Saka, because before then, Saka was nowhere near world class. Technically, if they don't win a trophy, I'm still not calling him world class, but that's a story for conversation for another day. What I'm trying to say is this: Saka went. Can't no one tell me when they were finishing 8th back to back that Saka was this world class player? He was just as raw. He had just as many. No, I'm saying he had just as many flaws to coach out of. He was not as good in the final third. He was not as good at taking on multiple players down the wing, not directly by interplay. He literally developed all of that this year, and I'm not even making that up. This year, Saka took a huge leap compared to what he was doing the last couple of seasons.
Okay, let me just say this. Saka had 2 Young Player of the Year seasons in the previous seasons.
Oh, young player.
Now he's taking can I finish, my brother? Now he's taking a leap where people were saying he wasn't even close to Foden. It's how can you even compare both of them? Now I think it's common knowledge he's better than Foden. National team.
I don't know about that.
They are close.
Anyway, just to clarify, I'm not jumping the gun and saying that Noni is better than Saka, because he's not. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm doing is bigging up Noni's dribbling, because in comparison to Saka hardly aims to beat his man every time.
But that's what I was trying to say.
And the stats speak for themselves as well. Like the other day I saw, the top 25 list of completed take-ons this season. He's not even on it, bro. In the league, he's not on it.
You're right. You're 100% right. I don't want to sit here and praise Saka ultimately, but comparing their dribbling is pointless. So, because that's not what Saka does. So, like, what's the point in comparing them? It's like comparing, Noni's dribbling to KDB.
But how can you not compare it?
Okay, no. Don, I got him. I see where you're going with
comparing that, because Saka doesn't even try to beat you 1v1.
No. I got you. I see what you're doing. I see why you're like, what triggered you. This is what I'm trying to tell you. We're not saying because Noni has better dribbling, therefore he could be the Saka for Chelsea. Like this is, let's just, because I'm tired of talking about Arsenal players to begin with. Let me just make this very, very brief. We are trying to say Noni is showing qualities that, if properly developed by a proper manager, he could be not as good as Saka, maybe not better, we don't know. That's obviously conjecture. But he can be that type of winger for us. That was the first comment Jem made. Then Don followed up, not to criticize Saka. He's just simply saying we haven't seen a winger with this much directness in time.
I understand all of that. My whole thing is you don't compare a combination player to a direct dribbler. That's all I was saying. Even in their
I'm sorry, they play the same position, man. You get different type of wingers.
Yeah, but okay, so can you compare him to Salah?
Of course you can. They played the same
Actually,
position.
you can, because at the end of the day, when you play in the same position, you can always compare a
You can
player.
always compare.
Okay,
You can
let's
always
let's
compare.
let's-
Every
okay,
winger. There's different type of wingers in football, right? Yeah, you get wingers that hold the line and just want to beat the man every time. You've got wingers like Saka and Jadon Sancho that want to link up with
I know.
other players.
I don't
You've got
want us
wingers that
to
are
lose.
quite technical and quite clinical. You get different type of wingers, so of course you can compare them. You can compare them, and not like I said.
Wait. Let's bridge this. Moving past the whole, moving past the dribbling thing. Do you see what we're saying in general, though? Take the comparison against Saka out of it. Do you see what we're saying about Noni?
In general,
It's
like
not about
every
Saka.
every young player, like he can develop like solid under Klopp, or in that sense he can develop as a young player. But in any
That's what I
other
was saying at
sense,
the beginning.
the comparison of Salah doesn't make sense. Like usually because he was like, well, because basically what was said was this, and this is how I took it, was he has something Saka doesn't have, which is a dribbling, which is fantastic. That doesn't mean that doesn't mean his progression or his ceiling or whatever is going to be anywhere near that, because they're completely different players.
We pray the manager gets that out of them. That's the whole point.
They're completely different players, right? So I mean, even with Saka, he was playing 35 or something games when people thought he was bad, right? When he was playing left back, and you know what I mean.
Daniel, the only comparison is the tree. Can we see Madueke reach the same levels in terms of his growth and progression that we've seen from Saka? That's the comparison. That's it.
And how I see it as well, Dan. For me, I don't know about everyone else. Everyone's got their ideal type of winger and a type of attacker that they like in their team. For me personally, I like my winger to always want to beat their man. So for me, Noni's already ticking that check.
Dom biased. I can't lie.
The funny thing is,
he's ticking that little. Let me just finish my point. Let me just land, bro. Yeah, like he's ticking that little bit off. He's ticking that little bit off because I like a player that likes to beat his man on the wing. Like Jem said, he creates more space. He can start to get goals as well when he polishes up his end product. But no one's saying that he's better than Saka, because he's not. That's not the conversation that we're having. So just to clarify
that's not what I was talking about. I was saying that.
Prime, my guy.
Let me just say something, y'all. Y'all going in on this?
Yeah, can we change the subject?
Let's not loop on this.
The funny thing is, the closest player we have to Saka is Mudryk. It's not Noni.
No, let's not do this. Let's not do this.
Well, if you look at the play style, that's what it is.
Saka, but no, play style. That is a great take. Play style.
Mudryk is a closer player to.
It's not a play style. It's a technique to beat the man.
Bro, it's semantics. It's whatever you want to call it, bro. It's the same thing. However, it's how he approaches the game is similar to Saka. That's what it is. But anyway, moving on, John.
I want to hear Prime's comments on this, because me and Prime
nonsense, man.
I don't really want to hear what Prime's got to say, because he'd probably say fucking insane, stupid. But go on, Prime.
Do it.
What's the conversation here, particularly?
It isn't one. We were just talking about Noni Madueke potentially hitting the heights that Saka might with a competent manager later on in the season, if we can find it.
Sure, maybe. I think Saka is like a functional player. I don't think, like, per se talent-wise, he's that special, but I like the fact that he's effective. I think with Madueke, should we not let him actually get games under his belt before we start judging him and comparing him with Saka?
No, we're not comparing. That's the thing. That's not.
Yeah, thank you, God.
because Chelsea fans did that with Cho and Saka, and look at how that turned out. So
that was
let him get
games. But at the time, Cho was on Saka's level. Let's not rewrite history.
I mean, yeah, but I mean,
Show on Saka's level, maybe in 8th grade. That's probably level they are same.
No. At the same time, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Clearly, we know who developed better. That's it.
But let's go back to the game, because that's what we're talking about, rather than Saka.
I was actually gonna. I heard the conversation between comparing Madueke, because he's playing in the same same side of the field. That means that they are compatible. What the fuck is nonsense is that?
Oh my God! Are we really getting lost in the sauce about comparing two wingers? Are we doing this? We weren't even comparing them.
Let's move on.
Jesus Christ!
I think
Jesus into conversation. Don't start.
Listen, I like the conversation. I like the conversation you guys were having.
My Lord and Savior.
You know, I think the criticism about him in terms of being a young player and having kings to his game, that's natural. All young center backs have this. They're all going to have it till they're about 25 anyway. You know what I mean? That's the reality of it, right? His raw attributes and, you know, just his IQ and the way that he plays shows that, at least to me, he's going to be a very, very, very good center back because he has less to add to his game than I think other center backs do. You know what I'm saying? If I'm comparing him to, you know, even me comparing him to his other Frenchman, Fofana, I think he's come. I think he's longer ahead in his development than Fofana is. Maybe the injuries and all this, you know, stuff it helps as well. And most of that is tactically because all these guys, their raw attributes are all there. Their physicality, their tackling ability. It's all about the IQ, understanding when to go, when to stop, all these different things. Where I think he gets that more. He makes mistakes. He's young. He's 21. Every young 21-year-old center back is gonna fuck up. So, you know, I think we have a gem on our hand when it like really comes to him. You know, so he's
you saying
one of
that
those.
Badashino is a better prospect than Fofana for you? Do you think? Or
That's the take.
Yeah, I think in raw attributes, Fofana has more because he's like his pace is really good and his tackling ability. But IQ wise, like Badiashile to me, except for the sparks of errors, where you see, like I said, you see with every other 21-year-old, right? Most of the time, he looks like he's 27. Very calm, makes the right decision, even passing wise all the time. Doesn't take an extra touch on the pass when he doesn't need to, right? Which I see with Fofana a lot of times that causes him get into a trouble where he has to turn around and pass to the keeper, you know, 5 times out of 10.
I agree.
Because he's taking an
I mean,
extra touch.
can I just interject real
thing,
quick,
you know?
Daniel? Just a quick interjection.
Yeah.
I think Badiashile, his composure is ahead of that of Fofana's in terms of his passing acumen. But in terms of defending and in terms of reading the game, all that stuff, like Fofana's miles ahead of him. Miles. It's not even a close comparison, to be honest. With that said, I still think that like Badiashile, like, and again, I don't want to keep ragging on this guy because like I think that he's going to be a good player. I just don't think that he's anywhere near the levels that some of us are aspiring to him to be right now. Like he's not complete yet. Like for me, a defender has to learn how to read the game and defend before we can call him a great defender. And he hasn't shown me that yet. Like his footwork, he has to work on that. He has to learn how to use his hips when he's like pivoting left and right. He gets spun, you know, like I don't like seeing that in my defenders. So until he can cut that stuff out of his game, I can't comment on his defensive acumen. What I can comment on in possession, he's very good defensively. He's very good in possession.
I would agree with you that those things that you said, I have seen it in him 100%. But I've seen it in Fofana as well, especially his first few games playing for us.
Yeah, but it's a mount. It's a mount.
Yeah, and also to be fair to what Couch said,
he was diving into from what I've seen from both of them during their time at Chelsea. You know, I've seen both of those like flaws. Fofana is just better at reacting when he fucks up because he's physically just better. He's a lot faster. He's quicker. So when he doesn't react, he's quicker to get back. But you know, there are key moments that you've watched in Fofana, and his tracking of runners who are running behind him, very poor, right? What I see with Badiashile, like you're right, his body positioning. He might see the runner and try to track him, but he's put himself in the wrong position and blah, blah, blah. They can both learn and grow. That, you know, that's not even what I'm saying. They can both become world-class center backs. In my opinion, I just feel the mental side of things, Badiashile is further along, so he's going to pick up the other attributes faster. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Fofana picks it up faster.
You don't think hold on a second, Daniel. You don't think, Daniel, let me ask you something. Do you don't think that just maybe just the way he appears, like the way he's on the ball, looks like he's more calm, but that's not necessarily that could be the true. Like demeanor, is that the right word? Like maybe his demeanor make you think that he's more calm, but I don't think that. I think it's just the demeanor of the player.
Mm-hmm. No, and how like here's how I see it. Badiashile, I think already knows like what he's good at, right? And tries to limit himself to it. Under a good manager, like because you see center backs like this. This is like an Ivanovic type of player. It's a very good player, knows what he's good at, but you can bring out a lot more out of him. And again, he's only 21. A lot of attributes help him a lot. Like he hasn't settled into his body yet.
Yeah. Dan, what I'd also say is a lot of it as well is Thiago Silva as well. I'll be.
Shout out a Monstro one time.
The reason I say that is because in the first couple of games that Thiago Silva played with Badiashile, we were talking about how good Badiashile was, and granted, he was very good. I've watched him next to Koulibaly against Aston Villa at home. It weren't good. It wasn't bad, but it was not the level it was when it was next to Silva. So my big question there is, he's still young and leadership qualities are going to be needed, but what happens when Silva can't and won't be playing much in the future? What do we do? Do we need to have experience?
Koulibaly was not having a good time as well, So
I think Fofana and Koulibaly together. How did that look?
Yeah.
Who?
When Fofana and Koulibaly played together, Fofana and Thiago Silva over the last 6 games. Because this is the first game.
It didn't look good either. You're right.
Silva makes a lot of players look.
The common denominator is Cooley
because he's a leader. Because he's the understanding of where to pick up positions and talking. And I just don't think Koulibaly gives you that. I think Fofana's like Badiashile in terms of they're still very young, but they need to be nurtured next to someone that's going to pick up from. Does that make sense?
That's why the one I think that's furthest along is not even here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think both of them, you just need somebody like if Koulibaly, because he's played so many games. He's not an idiot. He knows these things. I don't know what's going on with him, but if he can pull his head out his ass and actually help these young guys in showing them things tactically, because he's played in so many big games for fucking 10 years in Napoli. You don't play at that level when you're fucking shit. You know what I'm saying? Physically, at least mentally, you got to be there. So give us something.
I think it's the new way of defending. We have, for example, I've seen what Koulibaly made mistake. I actually saw Thiago Silva made the same mistake last game that cost us a goal against Southampton, against Brighton. If you look at the play, Thiago Silva pressed really, really high, got passed by, went for the middle, and they scored. Because Badiashile had to cover Thiago Silva's spot. These things happen, and I think it's the new way of defending. You know what I'm saying? Like press it. Remember, we criticized Rudiger when he was going in and challenging in the midfield. That's kind of things you have to see it nowadays. That's kind of defending. It is because you press as high, sometimes the big gaps in the middle, and those big gaps needs to be fulfilled with something. And nowadays, this is how center backs are doing it.
So my question is this.
Let me finish my answer before you ask the question. Anyway, my point, my final point about the young defenders is actually you need to see not within the games, couple of games, the progression of their development. It's supposed to be at the end of a season. So, for example, if you were looking at the Fofana, if you're looking at what's his name, Badiashile, whoever it is, if you see the slightless progression at the end of a season, that means that they're progressing. That's all it is. And I think Badiashile is a sublime defender. He just needs to be polished up, just like the rest of them. Same as Fofana. Fofana made the kindergarten mistakes in the beginning of the season. I don't see those mistakes again. So that's already progress.
Out of the two, moving forward, who do you see leadership qualities in? Out of the two, out of Fofana and Badiashile.
I actually see it in both, to be honest. I think both have leadership qualities. We haven't heard Badiashile really speak yet, obviously. So, that will tell. But
if you watch the app where he sits on the couch with a couple of Chelsea players, you will see his how his leadership is. He's just big and tall and scary.
I was gonna say neither.
Even in that, you see that he's not great with English yet. So that probably plays a part. Fofana is already great with English, and he seems like a real leader as well. So I think they're both leaders, but language barrier could play a part where one is still kind of trying to learn English, so he's not going to say much. It might be that.
Also, remember, you can lead in different ways. You can obviously be a leader, and I hate to give this guy the props this way, in the Jorginho aspect, where you're helping with the team building, you're helping with the chemistry, you're helping with the motivation, and then you can be a leader on the pitch. You're John Terry's, so it's your Ivanovich's. So it's like I just want to be clear. When you're saying a leader, are you referring to on the pitch, or are you referring to the way Thiago Silva leads, which is both?
It's more leadership qualities on the pitch, isn't it? In games and tight games where you're not winning and you need, that guy to just push you across the line. You know what I mean? A bit like what John Terry did. So probably on the pitch more.
I don't see Thiago Silva. I think the language barrier on Thiago Silva is the big part. I think that's the one of them. He wish he had the better English.
Oh, of course. And the dressing room still loves him.
Yeah. I'm not saying he like. Yeah,
there's probably
no. I understand you, Alex. You mean it would be better? I hear that.
Why it's probably easier with Thiago Silva and Badiashile and Thiago Silva for Fofana is because he speaks French fluently. So it's easy for him to tell him what to do, how to do it, blah blah blah. And Koulibaly speaks French. No, I know. Let me not even talk about him. The point is, learning English might even helps you. Tell your DM, pull in here. If you can only speak French and he doesn't speak French, you know what I mean? You might just not even say anything and just try to cover. It makes decisions probably a little bit different. So over the course of the year, these things actually help players when they get more acclimatized to the actual country. They're learning the language. It makes communication even on the pitch a lot easier.
Someone said Badiashile is the U23 captain, which you get I know.
For France. Make sure you understand it's France.
Yeah, for France. But that's, bro. The question is, do you see who can be a leader? He's already a leader. He's already a leader. There's no matter what you want to say, you can't take that away from him. Now
Oh, go ahead. I thought you finished. Sorry.
Can he transfer that to Chelsea? That's the big thing. And the language is what
I think English is going to be a big part of
that's
that.
That's what I'm saying. The language is going to be the problem.
Wait, guys, can I ask you? I'm curious.
Can I add to AJ real quick something that he said?
Yeah.
Leadership does not only based on what position you play. For example, everybody keeps saying Thiago Silva does that with the French players in the back. Leaders does not contain to the specific region of the field. Leadership supposed to be covers every aspect of the field.
100%.
In the front of the goal, in the midfield.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's the thing I was saying with Thiago Silva in English. You don't have French players playing up top that he can explain it.
With Thiago Silva, it's more the organisation on the pitch. I just feel when he's on the pitch more, we seem to be more.
That is the definition of a complete defender. His IQ.
I think more times when you see a defender as a captain, it's because they can survey the entire pitch. They see everything, right?
Yeah.
That's usually why you have a defender as your captain, because they see everything. Whereas if you play in midfield, you got defenders to your back and whatnot. And, attackers don't think the game the same way as attackers have one thing in mind. So Thiago Silva is the ideal leader, but at the same time, he's 39 now. I don't think we have any real.
Thiago Silva should be gone next year, respectfully. And if he's still here, he should be in the back on the bench, just helping coach the next generation of center backs.
Yeah,
the reality
is he's going to be here, but it's probably going to be more in the.
No, but it's not even in a disrespectful sense. He's nearing 40. With all respect,
I agree.
That's a legend of the game.
Well, if you're saying that his 40 is the reason why he shouldn't play,
no. It's not an age thing. Yeah. Hold on. Whoa. It's not an age thing. What I'm saying is, based on the level and height which we aspire to reach, which last time I checked, City is the benchmark. No one would disagree with that. Everyone wants to be where City is. I think that's agreed.
I also think that Enzo.
Yeah, but you don't get there by skipping the steps.
No. I didn't say skip the steps. I said the natural transition for Thiago Silva should be, if we still keep him, which is a choice by the board, you have him on the bench. So the next wave of center backs start playing more regularly, start understanding it's you. You need to start doing what Thiago Silva was doing.
Okay, let me give you an example. Do you know how many games you lose per season? So you will be in the top 4 conversation. What about 6 to 10 games? That's amount of games you're allowed to lose to be in the top.
More or less
what?
You can average around 6 to 10 L's. It depends how many you're winning and how many you're drawing. Sometimes losses aren't as bad as draws are.
Look, no matter how you're gonna spin the numbers, at the end of the day, the teams that win the league, the teams that were on the top 4, the losses account between 6 and 10.
I also
let me tell you, if those young defenders gonna be way still young, we're not gonna be accomplished in the next year either. But Achille is still gonna be just 1 year older. He's not going to be John Terry at 28. Fofana is not going to be that either.
John Terry at 22. Shit.
Yeah, 22 exactly. But what I'm saying is, those kind of things matter. If Thiago Silva is 40 and he still performs better than young kid, he's still gonna be outplayed over the young kid.
I would hope so.
Hold on a second. If you want them to be played and get experience, you need to lower your standard. You should be allowed to lose the games between not 6 and 10, between 10 and 15. Do you understand?
That's exactly what we are now.
Here's why I might disagree with that. Is you have to get the experience in your team in whichever way you can. Like Arsenal center backs aren't over 25, but they're 2 center mids or 28 plus, right? So you have to make it up in other ways. In terms of, even if you have young center backs, even if you have a Laporte and Stones, who played together 3 years ago or something like that, 4 years ago, where they were 20, 23 and 22. In front of them, you have a Fernandinho. In front of them, you can't have an entirety.
Yeah, you can substitute with experience DM. Yes, I agree.
You have to get an experienced DM, maybe an experienced keeper as well, to make up for that. Because you have to play these young center backs, right? You have to play them. You've invested in them. You want to see them develop, and they're more useful for you than the 3 extra wins you might get with Thiago Silva, which I don't think you will now, because I think he's playing less and playing, I think he's playing worse now. But that being said, I just feel like we have the young center backs. We've made a choice there. Maybe DM wise, we have to go for someone like a Paulinho, who's 28. Maybe you go for him instead of Lavia, because you need that level of experience.
Or Rice.
Don't touch
Lavia. Maybe that's what you got to do. You got to get an older, more experienced player in center mid to make up for the fact that
I can't lie.
What I would say in terms of leadership qualities, I do think that there's one in Enzo Fernandez if he gets his English sorted as well. I think there's another in the future moving forward. I think he's another one that will step up. Reece James, I think
He's a quiet leader. Reece James is a quiet leader.
Yeah, he's not.
Reece James needs to lay off for cookies. That's number one.
Hey, let him eat his cookies, man. He had a rough year.
They need to for the remainder games, they need to have Fofana and Badia Shield try to run
real quick.
I actually think if Reece James misses about 2 months, like 2 months of the injuries combined games next season, he needs to be sold.
That's a fair argument to have.
He's having an knock, isn't he? Because
let's see how Gusto does first.
He just needs to hopefully he gets the surgery.
Going to have an easier time
for free.
I don't want to do injury conjecture. Hopefully he gets that surgery. Hopefully he comes back, because we know when he comes back and he's properly healthy, he's literally one, if not the best right back in the world.
Injury was the problem, wasn't it?
Vic, you're right. Even if you get Lavia, that doesn't mean that Lavia needs a starter. Lavia is going to be on the same level as what's his name? You need to start him. I'd give him 20 minutes there, give him some cup games. This is how you start.
It depends on what the aspirations are for the club. If you're thinking that we're going to be challenging for titles and whatnot, then you don't play him, 80, 90 minutes every game. But if you're thinking about like just a slow progression for this club, we're now 11th, 12th, and we're trying to get maybe back into the Champions League, maybe back into like Europe in general, then you play him. You make him make his mistakes, and he learns from them. That's the best way.
But at the same time,
if you're thinking about it, if you're thinking about the progression of this club being let's get right back to the top 4, then you have to basically find somebody else.
I think 2 midfielders are required. I agree.
It's not even that, Couch. It's not even.
Wait.
Even that.
Because I wanted to
ask. It's more than just that, because I'm trying to answer Couch what he said. I understand what you're saying. But when you bring the losses, you bring the not comfortable conversation of us slower progressing to it. It brings the conversation of the coach being capable of doing those things, brings pressure on the manager, bring pressure on everything, and get him getting sacked. That's it.
Yeah, but that's it's just how you view the level of expectation, right? Like if the expectation is for us to get back into Europe, for instance, that's the baseline fundamental where we have to get there. Then, yeah, you have to allow for people to make their mistakes and whatnot. We have a very young playing staff, and to get players that we're talking about, like players in their prime years and whatnot, that's an expensive endeavor. Like you're not going to get somebody like who would be a Rodri or something like that for under 60-70 million, to play a role that you see is going to be Lavia's in the next 2-3 years.
That's what we're paying for these young guys as well, though.
Say again?
That's what we're paying for these young guys. Like to get Enzo, 120 mil, right? So if I have to pay 50 mil to get Paulinho, I think that's fair. You know what I'm saying? Because to get these young guys, I'm overpaying now. To get a Caicedo, I have to pay 95 million. Yeah. So if I have to get a Paulinho and it's Fulham, I'm not paying more than 60. Even if I get a Paulinho
and his experience.
Who's Paulinho? Where is he
Fulham.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice player.
Good player. Very good player, actually. I'd have him.
Yeah, brilliant player.
Solid 28. This is the type of guy you gotta, comes in, has the experience.
That's his first season in Premier League.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, I thought it was a second. That's magnificent.
Very good. Well,
for me, the best would be Caicedo. But
yeah, I don't see
Rice.
I don't see Rice or Latvia being possible, in my opinion. People saying Rice and Latvia, I don't see that. I could see Paulinho and Latvia being possible if we were to go in the market. I think people got to remember we also spent 120 million. We spent 120 million on Enzo Fernandez in that midfield as well. So I don't see us spending 90 million on Rice for then having to pay Latvia.
I don't think Rice is going to cost 90.
I thought it came out that Rice was going to be around 70 a few months ago, and then this new 100 mil hype came out again.
And then I read something about that we were accepting anything less than 100.
No, Josh, Lavia is not going to be about 50.
Well, also here in Rice wants Champions League, so it's like the perfect combination. True. Chelsea fans don't want him, and I think at this point he wants something else. So I think the Rice train is kind of moved on, right? We're not in the Champions League. He really wants to play Champions League, so
he's going Arsenal.
I think he goes Arsenal.
Yeah, I agree with that. And as far as Lavia goes, Lavia, if Southampton get relegated, they have
it's gonna be about 40.
They're not going to be able to command anything.
It's about 40 mil. 40 mil.
The problem is we're not the only ones who want center mids. Unfortunately, like Liverpool are looking at certain players, and they will have Europe. I don't know. Like we're gonna have to overpay. I already know that. So I'm I'd rather overpay for a Paulinho, an older player. I know that's the only one I'm mentioning, but he's really the only one I can think of right now, which is like the right age, 28, can come in and give us what we want right now and allow Enzo time, allow these younger guys a little bit of time where they don't feel, even someone like Santos that we invest a lot of money in, give them time to get better, while you're giving a solid maybe 7 out of 10. Maybe he will never give us a 9 out of 10, but I'll take the 7 at this point. Every game solid, I'll take it.
Yeah, we just need a presence in that midfield,
man. We need a presence.
It's important. Like what we need and what we can afford to pay for that need is in stark contrast. Like I think ultimately, like we can certainly say Paulinho, but like if he's 28 and you're gonna pay upwards of like 70 million for the guy, like he gives you one contract. That's not a very strong. That's not a very sound investment.
Somebody check what he would be.
It's Fulham. They've never sold anybody for that price. I think.
So what would you think that he'd go for?
Is probably
I think 55 is on the high.
1 year in.
Wait, guys. Let's not argue valuation prices for Paulinho because we have to think 9 outgoing players minimum, or it's FFP. So let's wait. Let's just wait. Let's get to the summer.
Gallagher pays for Paulinho.
Hold on a second. Where'd you get that 9 outgoing to fix the FFP?
Not based on the financial value of the players, based on the bloatedness of the squad. We actually have to let players go. The squad is too big.
One sale.
Oh, so don't do the way you said it. It's like FFP. We have to fix FFP.
FFP can hit you on more than just what the financial valuation is. For example, if you're violating certain procedures,
the actual valuation and transfer markets supposedly updated on March 16, 2023 is 35 million euros at the moment.
Oh, 35.
Add the Chelsea tax. That's about
there's a couple key things in this. You've got to add
Chelsea tax. That's
exactly,
Josh.
You've got to add in inflation. You've got to add in inflation because every player is inflated in the market. That is a
So
truth.
55.
And apparently, I just read something now, and it's quite recent. Fulham have valued him at 50 million. Apparently,
There you go.
So,
55.
It's not bad, bro. That's not bad.
This
No,
is a
that's not bad
solid.
at all.
Bad, but it's also only his one season.
Wait.
first
That was
season,
the
man.
question. That's the question I wanted to
World
ask
Cup
the whole
player.
panel. Going from Gem, what is the CDM you want? Obviously, I know it's more like 2, so I'm going to give you 2 options. What are the 2 possible options or pair that you want, regardless of anything that's happening in the summer? Just if you could get these 2.
Paulinho and Latvia.
I would second.
Lavia and Casado.
I would second.
Ooh.
Casado's a dream. I'll
You said Caicedo's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
dream.
That's 95 million. What are we doing? We can't do that.
That's
We
You
can't.
can
I
find-
know.
Listen,
I
wait,
you
hold
can
on. I
sell them
just
to
said
players.
regardless of anything. So he has a right to say Caicedo. I said
No,
regardless
he
of
does.
anything.
He does. I'm saying he's like the dream signing for me. He's the.
I see.
He's
So
the
you would
perfect-
agree if you could get him, you'd get Caicedo and somebody
But
else.
he's more box to box, though. I don't.
Yeah, I was
know.
gonna
Why
ask.
do you want someone
Listen,
so box to box?
Caicedo can do whatever you want him to do.
Nah, man, I want a specialist, bro. Specialist.
He can trust me. He can. They've made him play
He's
DM.
He's a baller though. He's a top baller.
Is he a
though.
sitter?
He's a top midfielder. I can't lie.
We
I
don't-
really
lie.
if
can.
you
about
watch
that
Poch doesn't play as sitters. He plays double pivots. So.
It'll be double.
But it
pivot.
doesn't matter.
Wanyama was the sitter though in the pivot.
Who?
He's a more similar player to Essien
Yeah.
than I've ever seen. So he can play.
You're going to
DM.
work now?
They played him right back in the last game.
Okay. I guess
So
I'll
it'd be
get him.
Caicedo
Nah, he's a
and Enzo,
baller,
for
bro.
example.
He's a
When I'm done?
player.
Yeah. Caicedo and Enzo. It would
By the
be
way,
in
the price about Casado, this is inflated just because those Arsenal back then was asking. The way the transfer request, we overpriced him for a reason. He's not gonna cost that much money. Plus, you can also always work out with the club with potential signings of the Chelsea players back there, or loan them players. Chelsea has a lot of talented youth that every club will be beneficial to get its hands on. So let's not go there. You
What
can
do you mean?
always negotiate price.
Whatever talented youth we have, we're not going to want to give up. The only player they'll do that for is Colwell, and we're not giving Colwell up. So they're not going.
You know what the funny thing is too?
Would
say-
you
we
give
say we
up
can
Colwell for
negotiate
Casado?
No,
I would.
no,
But
Yeah.
I'm
would,
done with
but-
Kova. We could let go of Kova, bro.
no.
But-
I'm not giving
but-
up.
Whoa,
but
what
you
did
say
Colwell do to
negotiate-
you?
Guys, just
Bro,
quickly
I'm
before we
done
move
with
on
Kova.
from this idea, like this idea of like negotiating prices, like in theory that works. With this ownership, that's not the case. Anyone that's negotiating with Chelsea right now are not looking to get any like bargain deals. Like that much is certain. They've shown that they'll play overs for anybody, and anyone who's a real executive will now analyze that and be like, nah, I'm not settling for less. I'm taking you guys to the cleaners like you've been taken to every time before. So the idea of negotiating with this Chelsea ownership is out the window for me.
What is
Okay.
Caicedo's market?
As they
value?
say, if you got it, flaunt it.
No,
I
even
don't
No,
if
know.
it's
We
like-
don't
the problem is
Guys,
back
the thing
then
is
was
this,
that
for the
Bolo was
price
going
upside,
to negotiation.
80
Now it's
million?
not him.
For
We're
95, you can
underestimating
get
the
two.
amount of money we
Wait,
can bring
one
in.
at a time. One at a time.
Moises Caicedo's valuation and market value is 55 million euros at the moment. That was in March 2023.
Nah,
So yeah,
that's
it'll be inflated.
fake.
So it probably add another 20. I still think you'll have to look for about 70 to 75 million for this player.
Yeah, I think Lavia and Casado will be about 100.
Caicedo by himself is
That's not bad. They were trying to charge us 100 for Rice
Oh,
alone.
there's
Like,
a
what
big
is
key. There's a big key in all of
Alex,
this
you
as
saying
well.
together there will be 100 million?
Yeah,
Yeah,
There-
around
there's-
100
there's-
together will be around 100.
There's a big key in getting, say, for example, a Caicedo, Latvia, or whatever the two are. I've got a feeling Mateo Kovacic might leave, and I've got a feeling
Oh,
that if we're
wow.
selling,
Where
we're
is
going to
that
get
feeling
about.
tickled you?
I think we're going to get about 30 to 40 million from him. I think we will still get that.
Yeah, it's possible.
Like I said, the outgoings are going to be key, man. That's where you're going to see. Are we going to end up going to get a striker too? We're going to get a goal. Like it all depends on the outgoings.
So if
I'm
he
okay.
goes,
Listen, I'm okay with leaving the money from where you like lose it from and just using it on that area. So if we get, let's say, 35 million for Kova, we get 60 million or 65 for Mount, we get 35 for Gallagher. All that money should go into the midfield. You know what I mean?
Fact.
To get in, if you can get
They
two
want a
or
striker
three,
as well, though.
huh?
Yeah.
Shows they want a striker as well.
No, but you need a midfield. Two of those midfielders played most of the games this year.
To
So
make
it's
the
like,
striker money,
who's
you need
gonna-
to sell the strikers.
you have to
That's
you
what
have to
Daniel's
spend.
saying.
I'd rather, if you have to compromise striker wise and you just kind of maybe you have to play Nkunku up there, that's fine. But you can't lose center mids. Conte is not signing. By the way, he was close to signing in January. He has 1 month left. He's not signing.
Yeah, he's signing.
He's not. And
Yeah,
Kovacic
he
as well.
is.
No,
He's
Poch gonna
staying,
get him to
bro.
sign, bro.
I think Kovacic
I
will go.
think
and I
Mount's
think
gonna
Kane will
stay
stay.
too, though. I think Mount's.
I think Mount's staying too.
We could let go of Gallagher and Kova. That's perfectly fine. I'm cool.
Gallagher and Kova's more, I think. Yeah, I think
Robin
That's what
Loftus-Cheek.
you want. it's that, but I just think the Conte thing. He hasn't signed so far. He's getting the last of his career. Does he want to spend it, rebuilding
In
Chelsea,
England, yeah.
or does he want to spend it in France somewhere, playing in the Champions League still and still competing for the biggest? You know what I mean? Like, he can still do that. Most teams are going to take Conte on a free. Like, that's an easy signing to make. So I don't think the fact that he has 1 month left, like we're doing with a lot of players, I don't think Conte signs. I think Kovacic does leave as well, and I think Mount and Gallagher are probably going to leave. So you have to get at least 2 DMs in, and maybe another center mid.
Why another? What, you think we're going to lose? Hang on, you think we're
They're
losing
losing like 4 or 5 players.
What about Robin Big Chicks? Is he
Ruben's
staying or
Ruben's going to stay.
It'll be just a squad player.
Just me, but I don't think
We need a
Gallagher's
squad
going
player.
anywhere.
I don't think
Gallagher's going anywhere.
People
One
really
of the
hate
blo-
Ruben
one of the
Loftus-Cheek
mounts are
and
staying.
Yo, I know. Why do people hate?
One
Ruben
of the mounts are staying. That's for
Maybe
sure.
you're right. Maybe Gallagher does stay.
It's
At
either
starting,
or
I
him.
can see why you hate him, but bench players, nah, it's disrespectful, bro.
No, it's either him or Mount. One of the two goes for me.
Who would you rather, Jem? Who would you rather stay?
I don't really rate Gallagher. I'll be honest with you. I
don't rate him. I know he has a value, but for Chelsea, I just don't rate him.
At least I've seen.
I gotta head back to work, boys. Much respect. Everyone bless up the Chelsea.
All right, Kelly.
See you later, Kelly, bro. I just don't rate Gallagher. I don't think he offers enough. I don't think he's Chelsea quality. I think at least with Mount, we've seen in them first 2 seasons that
there's something.
He's got something, and hopefully once you get the contract sorted, he's a good option to have, even if he don't start, just on the bench. Imagine having Mason Mount come off the bench. That's now on contract, maybe a bit happier in game time, playing in a system that actually is more consistent. Like, maybe it's a better option than having in Gallagher in terms of quality, what he can bring on the pitch.
Except Gallagher is happier to be on the bench, and you can get 65 million. And listen, once you get if you're selling all these guys, then maybe you should go for a Caicedo, even if it's 80 million. You know what I mean? Maybe you do need like those powerhouses to come in, and just spend in that area. I just don't like the optics of having 120 mid, double pivot with another 80 mid. You know what I mean? Like, that just looks crazy to me. I can see the headlines on that. So
that screams of like short fix, quick fix, rather than like
it just looks crazy. Like 200 mil for 2 center mids is unheard of.
Well, you're true, JT. You could just ditch both of them and just bring Andre Santos in as well. He looks all right, doesn't he?
Yeah.
If you have a Paulinho.
Arnold Schwarzenegger with the kindergarten movie.
You can develop him if you have a Paulinho. I mean, Brazil is seeing him as the next one up. They've even called him up. So you can develop him.
They called him up just so he can get his
he needs to get his work visa first, man.
The work visa. They called him up for that purpose. It was to help him out. It wasn't necessarily
but
because
like, why even help him out?
Why not? The more players you have over in Europe, the better it is for Brazil.
They rate him.
His development will be much better.
They rate him very, very highly.
Oh, maybe.
Kingsley says Chelsea want Ivan Toney. Watch this space. Big up to Kingsley. Thank you for the donation. He seems to think that Toney will be the main guy that we move to.
My type of striker.
Big up to DJ.
Yeah, I like Ivan Toney. I changed my mind.
I like Ivan Toney a lot. He's a good player. Very good player. I think it suits what we need as well, because it's not always like he will score goals. He won't score goals to the level of Harry Kane, but he will score goals. And it's not just that for me. It's everything else he does with that, for the team. And he's just so much more well equipped to be able to play up front on his own and hold balls and link play and bring people. He does it so good for Brentford. I watched him against Liverpool the other day. It was just doing it so comfortably, and he was out jumping Van Dijk and Canates, and it's just
we do well with that type of striker. Like we do well with that type of striker.
We do.
Is anybody else has questions about Osimhen, whatever the guy is? Because I don't see it, man.
No, I don't as well.
I'm not on that.
So I don't talk much about him, but I'm not too sure.
You're not on that what?
I
just think the evaluation for him like is just crazy. Like he scored a lot of goals, and I don't know if he's I just haven't seen enough that is enough for me to say like we should put millions upon millions of pounds into this guy.
That's the only thing with it, Couch. I watch Osimhen. I think he's amazing and a quality striker, but for 120 mil, I don't think he's worth that right now. Like if I was him, I would stay in Napoli another season because I know he really wants to come to the Prem, and the only two options he has aren't really a good place to go.
This is bad way to approach the signings based on price. What I'm saying is is Osimhen no price. Don't get me 120. If he was 50, was he the kind of guy that you looking to build the center forward like the front three? Is he the kind of striker?
I mean, I just gave you an answer. Yes, but again, I don't think he's ready for the Prem yet.
Let me ask you this, Prem.
I would still give him another season.
Does he have as good build-up play than Ivan Toney does, in your opinion? And I'm not talking about just a score. I'm talking about everything else and what he brings.
I think so. If he's in a team where he's centered around having to do that, but he scored. But I know he scores. I know he scores goals. I know he scores all types of goals. I know he can. I know he can do it when the pressure's on him.
I like for me, I will look at the situation with the strikers. For example, for all the strikers available for free, and I'm allowed to take only one. Which one I will take? I will take Ivan Toney.
Me too.
Yeah.
So if
wait. If you say if all the strikers are available for free, you take Toney.
If they're all free, I'm taking Osimhen.
Okay.
That's
what I was asking. So I don't like the price to be involved into the
Listen, he's a killer, and that's at this point
we're doing Haaland's not.
I want something different than I've been trying to get for so long.
You said Haaland?
The build-up play and all these different things. I get all that.
Wasn't Lukaku
is a killer in front of goal?
No. You're saying you will take Haaland?
I don't think. I think.
Or Osimhen, Daniel.
Osimhen. Okay. What you say? Who? Haaland or Osimhen? What?
No. I was stuck. Like for some reason, I gave two. I'll say Osimhen or Toney if you will
Osimhen or Toney. Yeah, I'm taking Osimhen.
Yeah.
I'm taking Osimhen. 100%.
Kane is gonna be one of those signings that actually gonna be like quick fix.
Big up, mate.
Kane is the better striker out of all three of them.
100%.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah.
I mean, if everyone's free,
how old is Kane now?
I'm taking Kane, but
30.
Kane's 29, 30.
Yeah. His time is gone. He can't come to a squad like Chelsea now at that age.
He does a lot. He does a lot by drifting into midfield. If you build a good midfield, he doesn't have to do that.
And Kunku's going to play behind whoever we get up front. I hope he's not the main striker. We need to play him.
I hope he's not.
We need to play him off someone. And that's when you get the best out of him because he will score goals with whoever it is up front and he'll arrive in the box. That's what we want.
We're not getting Osimhen anyway. It's too much money.
The problem goes with João Felix because if you buy João Felix and you've got Nkunku, but you want two midfielders.
I don't want João Felix to be bought for. I don't want
you just play João Felix as a false nine.
Just take him out on loan again and see what happens.
I wouldn't buy him.
I'm not convinced.
The loan option is a great escape for us. Yeah. We might as well just.
I would not buy him. Not for him.
Not buy him either.
No way.
The guy harassed the post just like Timo Werner.
I mean, he scored yesterday, didn't he? With that little side.
Yeah, when the game was wide open and they needed to score.
True.
Well, he only played for 10 minutes, man. Allow him, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they were a pretty.
Don't get me wrong; it was a good finish,
and the build-up was nice.
Yeah, the build up. Yeah, Sterling finally did something good.
Can't talk about Sterling too much here. We might get in trouble. You know, we don't like Sterling.
Wait, why would you get in trouble talking about Sterling?
Some people just don't like him. They just think he's a waste of money.
Are you one of those people?
No.
I'm one of those people.
What are your thoughts on Sterling, Jem?
Like I said when we signed him in the summer, he's not the answer. So what is it like? Like for me, it was more with Sterling having other killers in and around with him, not being the one that we rely on and playing him out of position up front to score goals. He's not that player. It's what you expect.
Yeah, but he wasn't bought to be that guy either, though. He's just supposed to be the guy supposed to finish opportunities, right? Like he is basically the Werner replacement. He's basically the Werner replacement. And he's just not. He's not finishing. He's not doing well.
But we're also
I like
not
him.
really.
It's not that he can't finish, though, is it?
But we're also
At
not.
least if we had a good center forward, he would have benefit. But
we're also not really putting Sterling in positions to be able to finish. We're playing him wing back and stuff.
We're not playing him wing.
We're not really.
Shut up, Ryan.
We're not really.
He
didn't play wing back one time. He's played wing back numerous
times. He played one time, man. Shut up.
He didn't play just one time.
Let's be honest, though. Sterling still has value to the squad, bro. He's maybe next year with a better coach and a better.
He's even said himself, this is one of his lowest times.
Yeah, like there's still value there. There's still value there.
Not stupid.
Yeah, he's not a trash player.
It is, but
how do we see Sterling fitting in with
somebody said Pep Tax.
Josh is like, I know what Josh thinks. He hates him, doesn't he? He can't stand him.
Don't get your tongue cut.
Well, look at all the wingers we have. Name the wingers we have, and let's see who do we want to let go? Ziyech, Pulisic.
There you go.
Name all
Sterling.
of them.
We got what?
Noni.
It's going to be Ziyech, Pulisic, and Havertz.
There's at least three of them that gotta go.
And Cho.
And Cho. I mean, Cho. You know, I don't know what's going on.
Jesus, this guy is still.
Sterling's not going nowhere, man. He's not going nowhere. Nowhere, no time.
You don't think we're not going to sell him? He's still under how many years?
He got the paycheck of his lifetime.
That
guy, he's gonna be like Robin Loftus-Cheek, so comfortable.
He's a retirement home.
Yeah.
We have to admit it. We got like, I thought he had something to prove, and he was leaving Pep, to come here and prove. He's not doing any of that.
Yeah, but he can't. No. This is. But look at what.
I think Sterling still has ambition.
And I just don't agree with the excuse of, this is his role is in terms of finishing. He's the most senior player in that front line.
Yeah, but also,
his build-up play is awful, right? Even there was just his passing in the last game was terrible. To just set easy passes like that are causing. He just doesn't care. So I mean, I don't know.
Like for a guy that's like 28 and like is supposed to be like flashy dribbler finisher, he looks so timid on the ball when he's in possession. Like, that's the thing that scares me.
You see, this is the problem, Couch. Everybody's saying like we bought him for this, for finishing. But if you watch him, anywhere he played, did he praise to be the one-time finisher? No,
definitely not.
So how the hell did we supposed to buy into this conversation that we bought him for finishing purposes?
I don't get it. This is what I'm saying.
There's no way.
You know what the funny thing is, though, Alex? But you know what the funny thing is? Like whenever we talk about him, we're saying he's one of the most prolific scorers in the Premier League. He scored. So whenever Man City won the title, he's been the guy that's been the difference maker, 15, 18 goals. And he's not bringing that to us.
Let me ask you this.
It's the same conversation with Timo Werner when we got him. Everybody's saying because he scored 30 goals in the Bundesliga.
But that's because they play in systems where they're creating a plethora of chances for them.
Wait a sec. How many chances have we actually seriously created for Raheem Sterling? And I'm talking about when we've played him. We've actually been playing
because we're dependent on him to create.
Yeah, and I'll go back to the Arsenal game. We go 1-0 behind. Was it Arsenal or was it Real Madrid? Can't remember. The ball comes into the box and he hits it. It was against Real Madrid first time. Any other day, that's going in the back of the net. And then other than that chance created for him, we didn't create anything from the whole game. And
he's not a striker.
He's not a striker. What I'm saying is we don't create enough anyway. So.
But he's part of that problem as well. It's not.
Yes,
it's not
he's
just
the one that we rely on to be creative. Also,
it's not just him, obviously, but
yeah,
the always like. So who's going to create for him next year? Mudryk? Mudryk and Nkunku, that's who's going to create for him.
Well,
Like
no,
he's supposed to add to that creation as well because he's not a cold finisher. He's not a one-time, two-time
His
finisher.
type of creating is, in my opinion, isn't someone that you give the ball deep turnaround run like
Yes, exactly.
His creativity is vision, running in behind into the space behind the defense, where he then receives the ball and then he looks up and makes the right pass, or he arrives in the box on the other side. And he's in the box ready.
He's a complementary type of player.
That's him. That's what Sterling is.
Yeah, I've seen him get the ball, edge of the box, in the box, make poor decisions, just like the rest of them.
He does. I've seen it.
Exactly.
You're gonna see that from all wingers, bro. It's the consistency of seeing.
But the best of Sterling is the one that is, in my opinion, one that attacks the spaces in behind. But you need to find it, and that's how he was effective at Man City. He played off the wings, and he was effective from running in from the wings.
You know why was he effective at City? Because we didn't have a striker, and we had to rely on the other players from the other side, which has better quality than Chelsea ever had. He was a threat on one side, but that doesn't mean that there was no threat from the other side. We scored so many goals from every position on that field that Chelsea cannot. So main concentration when he came, we look for him like for a savior. It's on you if you think that he's a goal-scoring, prolific player. It's you. Like, seriously, if you thought that Sterling is going to be the one...
At City. They were creating for everybody.
Exactly.
Well, here's the
but at Chelsea, all of a sudden, we have to create just for Sterling.
Is he at Chelsea? What is he here to do?
Well, he was supposed to be...
Listen, I would expect him as a senior player with everything he's added to his game to step up in whatever role he's needed.
I agree with that.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for.
So what is he supposed to do?
How bad
he's about what he's supposed to do is about exactly what he was doing when Thomas Tuchel there with Aubameyang and Sterling right behind him.
He started well. He did start well. You know,
because I don't think he's a winger. I think he's actually better in tight spaces, which is closer to the middle of the box than outside of the box.
But his touches are so timid now, though. Like he doesn't look very comfortable on the ball. It's beyond. You know, like I want to see him there too, but like he looks so timid. Like every touch, it looks like a turnover.
Well, I tell you what.
Touch.
Who has everybody at Chelsea this season had a bad touch.
Couch, if you look at that goal though that he set up for Felix, that's kind of what we're looking from Sterling. You know, receiving the ball on the half turn, driving into the box, and dropping it for somebody to finish the chance. I think he can do that. I think if he's doing that consistently, you know, we'll see more value in him, and I think Poch or a coach will coach that.
And we'll have Nkunku to take the blame away from Sterling also. We're not going to be relying on just Sterling.
I think his main attribute is goal scoring, and we haven't seen enough of that for a number of reasons. But if we're saying that we're using him as the link between the attacker, the midfielders,
it's on you, man.
Bro, what do you mean? Like that's all he's ever done in his career. That's all he's ever done. Like he's one of the most prolific.
He got a lot of assists at City too. He got a lot of assists at City.
Not really. He's never been considered an assister. Anyone that talks about Raheem Sterling, it's his finishing, regardless of whether or not he's a clinical finisher. It's the fact that he can get on the end of things.
You know that
he may be 1 in 4. He may be 1 in 4.
It's like
and not 1 in 2, but he's still. What are we really talking about here, guys?
It's like Timo Werner. Couch. We got Timo Werner based on scoring abilities.
Absolutely. Timo Werner was also brought here to score goals.
He scores goals. Sterling scores goals, but I think you're ignoring his creation piece a little bit more.
I haven't seen enough of it, to be honest.
We agree with that. We all agree with that. We all agree with that. We haven't seen enough. We haven't seen enough, but it's there.
We moan about tactically the way we set ourselves up and how we create for the forward line and playing Enzo deep. And then on the top of that, we're like, well, the players ain't doing what they're meant to be doing up front. Like,
I can't believe I'm actually defending him, but I don't think he's a good player. I don't think I never rated him. I always did not rate Sterling.
I don't rate him. That's what's mad about it. I've not actually liked him for a long time in terms of the style of player he is, but what he can do and what he can bring to the table.
Yeah,
I do think we can potentially. He could be. In my opinion, I think he could potentially be quite a useful player for Chelsea if we have a right manager, competent manager, a system in place, and we're more fluid in our attack, which means that we're creating more.
Okay,
Which we
the
don't do
best,
anyway.
the best Sterling produces what for this club? The best Sterling, the best of Sterling. What do you get?
What do you mean? What do we get?
You're getting
when you see the best of Sterling, what do you get from him?
It's a potent goal scorer and creator. That's what he. That's what he
it's the drive into space. It's being able
it's
to
the X factor essentially,
it's
bro.
able to stretch the pitch and run in behind and create space for the others in the box to be effective, and that's what he does.
But he can't be the main guy. He can't be the main guy. That's the thing.
You know, and on top of that, arriving in the box late, but find himself in the right position in the box because he does have that in his mind. He knows where to find himself when the ball's out wide, where to be. He knows that.
There's a reason.
I'll see you guys later. I gotta go eat some breakfast.
Cheers. All right, Alex. There's a reason Pep uses players like Pedro and Sterling and these type of players who are complementary type of players, you know, because everybody can't be the one who's on the ball creating everything. There's only one ball. So somebody has to be filling the space, being a fox in the box where you can finish half chances, create little chances. Like
you're speaking the exact same thing I've been saying. This is what he was brought to do, to be that player for us. Finish
Also,
opportunities.
And he's just not deep enough though.
Sorry?
Who's creating deep enough? Who deep enough is creating for these boys as well? Like, confidence with forwards is about knowing that you're going to get the ball constantly, right? Why are Man City so successful? Because they've got individuals in the team that they know when they get the ball, I'm going to make that run because I know
you're not wrong, Jim. You're definitely not wrong.
And that will get you forward for a long time.
Jim, that's the problem we've had for a few years now, though, right?
Yeah.
That not the continuous where people will argue and say, "Oh no, we just need it's Werner's fault. We just need a striker, get Lukaku. Oh, it's Lukaku's fault. We just need a goal scorer, get Sterling." When I've been continuously saying that our creation is a massive problem. Like, how is it again? Whether or not people want to rate Sterling, Werner, and Lukaku, that's fine. I'm not arguing that they're good, but how is it that they've been in previous teams where they create an abundance of chances for them to score and they're able to get goals, and then they come to Chelsea, we don't create chances and these guys can't score? It's not rocket science as to why that doesn't happen.
When we're playing Conor Gallagher as our forward in the team,
okay, no, again, I'm not defending Werner. You don't understand my point then.
You got Enzo Fernandez there. He should be in that role, and I promise you now, if he's in that 8 role a little bit further, even if we play a 4-3-3 system, then forwards are going to be a lot more confident in making runs because they know he can pick the ball out the right pass at the right time when they make the runs. We've not seen that for a long time at this club. It's still an issue. And we've got a player that can do it, but we're not using him because we haven't got a player that can sit. So we're having to pretty much lose that part of his game until we solve it. And that's why
we don't really have a team.
Forward,
we don't really have. We don't really have a team.
It's just a balance for me, Prime. It's just all like this all the time. It's never like this. It's always like that, or like that.
Because people just want to look at one thing.
We play 7 defenders on the pitch. We play 3 at the back. We're like that. We play, the 4 at the back, and we had another attacker in. We end up going like that. We don't ever just go like this. And that goes down to the midfield options as well, massively.
I think it goes down to everything, really. People just want to look at one thing. It goes down to everything.
It's a problem. That's going to be a problem. It's going to continue. It doesn't matter what fucking forward you put up there right now until we actually address the midfield, in my opinion. And obviously empty out a lot of these players that don't want to be here and start, putting a system in place. It's going to be. This is what it is. It has been for the last 2 seasons. It's shit.
And we started well addressing the midfield. We bought Enzo Fernandez. That's a great signing. If we can bring in a player that can have a decent impact, similar to Enzo, but under a stronger structure, then we're on the way. But it's just going to take time. It's definitely not happening.
It will be criminal to go into next season and have Enzo still playing that position. If I see Enzo playing the deepest role next season, I'm not watching. I am not going to be happy because your most creative player, one of your most creative players in your team, is having to be defensive minded.
You wasted the money
thinking when he should be thinking offensively about getting the ball and turning and making passes quickly, which is what his strength. Like, what are we doing? So this is what I'm saying. Manager coming in and tactically has to get this spot on. Whether it's buying a sitter next to Enzo and saying, look, you do what you need to do now. Don't worry too much about the defensive side of it. I'm here because this is what I do. That's what we need. And I think from that, Sterling, Nkunku, Madueke, We'll then be more confident now. Shit, Enzo's with us now. We're going to be, he's going to find the ball every time. Mudryk, these are the little differences, intricate things that we need to sort out in this team. But we'll see, guys. We'll see. We've done over 2 hours. I've enjoyed the show. It's been a very good show again, as always. I've had some very good discussions. It's been good. Sir. I'm away on Wednesday again for 10 days. I'm going to Tenerife. When's our next game? When's
Tenerife. Wow, that's the Black Sand Beach, right?
With the Black Sand Beach, bro. Yeah.
Next game, living the life, bro.
I'm living, bro.
Globetrotter, man. What's
every other week?
Saturday the 13th of May.
Work, man? Do you work? You have work?
I do work. I work while I'm on holiday.
He brings the work with
him. Chelsea play Nottingham Forest on Saturday the 13th of May, 3 o'clock. Obviously, the match reaction would be Sunday. Maybe Winter Surfer again. Can have a little word with him. I haven't spoken to him in a while. Or if someone wants to do it, you're always more than welcome on the panel. We can talk about that offline anyway. Big up everyone. It is what it is. It's kind of a bit of a dead season now for us anyway. There's not
We're
much.
Safe, guys. We're safe.
It's not like you're missing a match reaction and it's a big match reaction. We have 40 points. We're playing for nothing now at this point, aren't we?
We were safe before the win anyway. We weren't going to.
No, we wasn't. No, we weren't.
We weren't trying to get. But realistically, we weren't. Realistically,
you know what? You know what though, Prime? It's not even about whether or not we were going to be safe. I just wanted to see the club reach an objective.
Something.
Like, we shouldn't have to back ourselves into staying up. Like, get 40 points. That's a simple, easy.
Some people would have said you were never safe last year. You were almost relegated.
At least there's a good stat. Frank Lampard's now kept 2 clubs up from getting relegated, and we're one of them. So,
Oh wow! Hey, that's your manager, people. That's your manager, Fat Frank.
That's your manager. You love him.
Not my manager. Not my manager.
Your manager.
Lampard needs to go be an assistant manager like Arteta did, and learn his stuff, man.
Guys, big up. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe. I'll be
bad
back.
Boy Badia.
Bad boy Badia, bad boy Madueke.
Frank out.
Oh my god, look at that picture. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Peace, take care. We'll be back again very soon.
Not me, not